Do not adjust the dial on your set. Do not adjust the signal. Do not change the channel. Do not go to another subscription. Do not worry. The convention is here, and we are here to help. Hey there, everyone, and welcome to one of our lore ramblings. The name's Adam.
I'm Imsit, and we're finally discussing the good guys of Mage the Ascension.
That's one way to interpret it.
In this case, the Technocracy, and in particular, the NWO.
Uh, this is actually one of the conventions that is not remotely one of my favorites. My favorite has to either go to Iteration X or the Progenitors. I used to like the Void Engineers more, but there's just something about the other two that I find more interesting.
They're not. The NWO isn't sexy in the sense of Iteration X, cyborgs, progenitors, bioengineered horrors, void engineers, space, and the
Oh yeah, the
Syndicate
Syndicate. Fuck, I
is
forgot
just,
about them. They're
well,
they're
the
my favorite.
Syndicate,
The power
it's
of money.
money. It's just money. In this case, the NWO is typified by the following phrase: there's a war on for your mind.
These guys are kind of the reason that the conventions exist as they are, and they are the reason why they tended to evil max, particularly in the first edition. We are not covering first edition, although I was inspired by the first edition cover, which I will show since I have a copy of it open. I was inspired. The reason I used the Blues Brothers as a thumbnail is just because the cover for the original, it has two men in black with fedoras with shades, and it just reminded me of the hit comedy film involving people on a mission from God. It feels right. But the reason we're not covering them, the reason we're instead doing the revised version, is actually because it gives a bit of nuance. Basically, after the first edition of Ascension, they tried to make that the conventions a little more nuanced, a little less drawn out black and white. And I think there's some value in that.
To explain it, the way that the first Technocracy books are written are the way that modern White Wolf would write the Technocracy.
I
No
don't know about
nuance,
that.
no speculation. The only difference is they wouldn't be making modern day political references.
No, I don't think it would be like how modern White Wolf would reference it, because the way that modern White Wolf would reference it would go, okay, so here's these list of tropes from TV tropes because we need to prove that we're so smart and meta and self-aware of the writer's medium that we're a part of. Here's all of these things that they are. And then they'll like invent maybe five terrible characters, and then they'll completely screw over the lore. They'd probably combine them with the Exarchs and the Seers of
Uh,
the Throne from
Actually, let me
from
look up. Let me
Awakening.
look up. I'm going to look up their actual tropes.
Oh,
Ancient
Lord.
conspiracy.
They're not that ancient, really.
Boomerang bigot.
Well, here's the thing.
Charles Atlas superpower.
These are the
Equal
youngest of the.
opportunity villain.
Oh, that's true.
NGO superpower.
Lieutenant Security actually brings up a good point. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. And that's kind of their thing. I wouldn't
Yes.
say they're an ancient conspiracy because out of the conventions, these are actually the youngest, really, aside from perhaps the virtual adepts back when they worked with them. They're kind of only a thing that came about from the Victorian era.
And
And the reason I
and
wanted to
the
cover these guys first out of all the conventions, despite me honestly finding them the least interesting, is because I kind of see them as the example of the conventions, similar to how Hermetics tend to kind of represent the traditions. As above, so below. That's kind of why I wanted to pivot through this. Also, you guys wanted this really badly, but barely lost out to a coin flip. So that's the other reason.
also, I see you brought up the TV show The Prisoner, and yes, that's also 100% fitting. I also say the revised one fits better because it was made in 2012. It is more recent compared to a book that would have been made in the early 2000s, in which
Yeah, that's
stuff like
true.
in which primarily stuff like social media didn't really exist, and that's something very important because we brought up with the war on for your mind, what the New World Order is all about is shaping people's minds themselves.
This
As they
is
state,
represented in their sphere specialty, which is mind. And also, I should note, this is not just White Wolf, that's the publisher. This is also an Onyx Path book, because this is revised slash 20th anniversary edition. And Angel Arroyo has commented, I think the New World Order came from the Order of Hermes with the Order of Reason. I don't remember their exact origin. I know that they came from the Victorian period. I would not be surprised if they were Hermetics that were just seeing a new paradigm. So welcome to the NWO, and this guy is definitely not happy to be here. He has no chin. Oh God, like just on an artistic level, this guy is unsettling. This is either I think this is intentional, and this is actually really good usage of shading to make this kind of
yeah,
unintentionally off-putting.
I
It's the
believe the
face.
opening story is the interrogation.
Uh, Most likely. Oh, I love the silhouette. There's some good art in this book. A lot of the Mage books have great art. I think this one's a really good example of that. But introduction in Victory, because even though the Avatar Storm and the new Maelstrom threw plans away, you have to remember that much like every mage, the New World Order are a bunch of smug snakes that think that they have things on top.
Because
They
look
think,
around you.
yeah,
The world is interconnected. The fact of the matter is that unlike any other time period in history, anyone's thoughts and opinions can reach elsewhere around the world and find common cause and connectivity.
no matter how garbage their thoughts are, no matter how deranged they come off as, and hey, you could have gotten completely bodied 10 years ago for a bad take. All it takes is a little bit of respin, a little bit of the right spin doctorings, and you can come back in power.
But this, and while this may seem to be chaotic, think about how cohesive narratives are now in the world. Think about how readily everyone can get on the same path and the same mindset. Everyone is connected, and everyone can be brought to the right opinion. And that's where the New World Order comes in.
Mainly because the power of this technology needs to be guided, specifically because with these garbage opinions, remember, humans are like orcs in this setting. Consensus dictates reality. And with the rise of new alternative ideas and the republishing of old alternative ideas, you need someone to keep a thumb on things if you want to keep the power. And this is where they come in. The New World Order has two major roles: guiding what society thinks and also making sure the other conventions play nice with each other. As for the main theme of this book, it's the human spirit. To say the New World Order believes in control for control's sake is a misunderstanding of the convention. Admittedly, this has been cultivated mainly because in the first edition they were just to control the human spirit. Like they are just out and out fucking villainous. Every one of the conventions were written to be pretty much villainous, except arguably the Void Engineers, but that's just because they're kind of disengaged in the Paradigm War. They're kind of focused on other
Well,
things.
I mean, yeah, I gotta be honest. This sentence kind of gives it away. When we change the perception of history, it's to prune weeds from consensus so that it may flourish.
This is a bit of a meme and a bit of a nod to how in the first book, the New World Order wholeheartedly backed the rise of a one bald Austrian man who failed at art school. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I would argue.
conventions backed that guy.
Well, of course they would. It's a new model of human engineering, one that unites people together in a single pursuit and goal towards technological and physical progression.
Well, here's the other funny thing. It is actually partially because of this that the virtual adepts did not sign on to it. That's why they left the conventions.
Well, that and killing Alan Turing.
Well, yes. Also, another interesting one is that the Verbena were very much fans of the funny mustache man.
It's a return to tradition with a V.
I wouldn't be surprised if there were also members of the choir who were also a fan of it. Because here's the thing: it's like the leadership was, but not every part of the conventions and not every part of the traditions were for or against this guy. Leadership of the NWO sure as hell were.
And right now, leadership is kind of broken up because the dimensional anomaly kind of took a lot of the elite off the table, and
So,
now there's new
yeah.
new people with new ideas,
And
funny
this is
ideas
actually one
like
of the things that saved Iteration X, because Iteration X, I think, were the original evil maxers out of the crew. Thanks to Friend Computer going insane, they actually have a chance to redeem themselves. And as with them, so is the New World Order. The Avatar Storm and the sixth Maelstrom absolutely fucked a lot of mages. And it doesn't matter if you see it as super science or super magic. You're fucked by this thing.
all of your top guys are gone, and if the rumors from the Void Engineers are correct, they're coming back with no longer being human.
No, they're somehow more and less than what they once were. And not in a good way. Not in a good way. Threat null is something that's a real big concern. And they also highlight some of the aspects of the core fundamentals. The ending of the pogrom, the adherence to the timetable, and bowing to directions from the NWO. Basically, the NWO's leadership is being contested, particularly by the Syndicate, because the power of money is one of the other things that kind of is just something that you have to struggle to get around.
Except for the fact that they're now investing in very short-term and unstable schemes.
Line go up, it doesn't matter.
Well, think about also like data-driven assets and all this garbage. It's not actually effective, and they've caused numerous things: the housing crash, all these various other stuff. And don't forget, one of our progenitors may have been involved in COVID.
Yeah, basically, the New World
Like to
Order is
ex- he like to
struggling to keep
exper
control.
he liked to experiment with dogs for some reason.
And don't forget, the Syndicate's also advocating for, well, it's not just the Syndicate. Syndicate and Iteration X has the brilliant idea of replacing people with LLMs, which are large language models. And, just kind of assuming that's going to work. It's to the point where they're actually having AI code their fucking operating systems nowadays. Seriously, look at some of the horror stories for Windows
Yeah,
11. It is
and
fantastic.
and I mean, I'm not really trusting the LLMs made by Pentex. Something about them seems malignant.
Oh, that sounds amazingly horrible.
Yeah. It's just
Especially remember because
it would
people
be an
use
it
them.
would be an LLM that literally devours information
Well,
to the
no,
point
no, no.
where it
You're
no
not
longer
thinking
exists.
big brained enough. Think about it like this. There's a lot of people that use them as companions now. Actual.
Oh,
So you have the Ravager worm, the one that covers the that aspect of corruption. Just
Di- and
add.
haven't people said that
Ooh.
they're convinced the AI kind of drove them to do some unfortunate things?
The robots told me it was okay to put peanut butter down there. So this is a different time. This book is the first and foremost a love letter to Mage the Ascension fans who carried a torch for this world for many years because Mage was kind of shit canned for a while. And the way they're going to play with this is the way they played with the 20th anniversary edition. Who gives a shit? The storms happen, but it's assumed that the apocalypse was avoided. It don't matter. None of this matters. So this is the revised history. Thank you, New World Order. Very cool. This is playing catch up and patching it. Oh, from Nicholas. For Iteration X and the Syndicate, they have the fancy AIs, not the stupid ones. Oh no, I'm
And
pretty sure they have the stupid ones. They're just able to do more with it.
well, no, I would say for Iteration X, they have the actual artificial intelligence.
Well, no, remember that one went crazy and is coming towards Earth with the Mirror Earth,
Yeah, but that was the old version. Now we have the new version. They have a
which is
newer
much
version of the
dumber.
firmware.
I'm assuming it's going to be like ChatGPT 5.0 versus 4.0. So, the
So,
aftermath of the dimensional anomaly. So, we're just kind of going right into this.
well, yeah, well, 1999, pretty much all of the Deep Universe and Horizon outposts are gone. And then they get a
Yeah.
message back in 2005, and I do love this line, to say we were fucked is an understatement.
So this was something they kind of really ramped up, and I think the idea was they were trying to retool the Ascension stuff. Instead of it being tradition versus convention, I think they were trying to figure out what type of threat did they want to be the overarching one. And this is also kind of Onyx Path being a little more generico and vague, because threat null is an interesting thing and all, and they were trying to build up the Nefandi again as like a big bad threat, but you kind of lost some of the dynamics by doing that, you know?
Well, now you get a little bit more internal. As I say,
Eh.
with the old gone, there's now political infighting, and some saw this as an opportunity to push ideas that were unpopular with control, especially those that buck against the timetable.
Because that's the other thing. Ironically, the Avatar Storm and all of this destruction might have actually done a lot of good because it shook them out of what they were rapidly approaching, which were becoming drones. Because
Uh,
that was the big thing that the Technocracy was starting to face was that by rationalizing and compartmentalizing, well, miracles essentially,
yeah.
they were making it harder for them to actually continue to advance the boundaries.
And then the methodology that had existed for, well, for the 90s, let's say the one we put in that Fukuyama book, fell apart due to four planes.
Before we go there, though, just very quickly, I do have the first edition book. I just because this is post Avatar Storm, and I think to really understand this, we need to know a little bit about the how the New World Order existed. So I hope you don't mind if I just very quickly go through that, if I can actually
I'll,
get to
I'll,
that part.
I'll get a copy as well.
This is a very okay. Where are we? There's gender roles in the NWO. Why did they decide to write these like personal requests via email? I kind of get why, but this is annoying. Oh, this is actually a pain in the ass to read.
What year was it?
Errors have been made.
95.
Yeah, the
Oh,
original one was, oh, I love this picture here. This is the last thing this guy is taking a picture of before he dies. Factions in the war, the conventions. I just wanted to get a history, man.
you're not really.
Jesus.
It's always going to be the one that's first in. These ones are always first person POV, and it just wasn't good.
It's sometimes neat, but this is kind of actually obnoxious. I like how they have a picture of Kennedy. I wonder what happened to that guy. I wonder what the NWO did to Kennedy.
I
Yeah,
think they're
I,
methodologies. I think that's.
so we don't need to know. Okay, we're not gonna know. But basically, they formed in the Victorian era. I think they might have originally been Hermetics that went around the bend. Because around this period,
Yeah.
conventionalists and traditionalists, the Order of Reason was like a big faction. Like they've already had faction squabbles, and as Paradigm moves around, things get in and get out. So, like, you had the Sons of Aether, for example. They were a convention for a while, but then what happened was their hibbity jibbity stopped working as efficiently as the other conventions basically emphasized more reliable methods.
But yeah, then
These guys are new. These guys were
then
basically formed in early Victorian. How early? We're talking like year 5 of Vicky's reign. I believe they started as a special bureau in her cabinet. I think
I
it was
believe so.
maybe like founded by a like her court wizard, which was a hermetic. I
Ah,
think that might have been how that happened. But
but
either
to
way,
get back,
you can blame the British for
yeah,
the New World Order.
get back to the current timeline.
So what happened was
9/11 happens,
9/11.
and I do like this. Many traditionalists blamed us for 9/11. For our part, we held them responsible, then investigated other reality deviants such as Marauders and Afandi, and finally looked within the Union itself. Yeah, they couldn't think, it's just a bunch of sleepers.
Which is what actually happened, and they're kind of horrified that sleepers are able to shake off the reservation, get off the reservation, unshackle their chains for a brief moment to do something like this.
I mean, they probably should have seen it coming. The guy had repeatedly said that he was going to attack that place. He attacked it already. We had information about it.
And this isn't the first time that this has happened. Remember, other people have tried.
I do also like line here. I have to keep reminding people the Union lost good men and women that day as well. You think there weren't syndicate agents in New York, NWO ones in the Pentagon,
Fair
and
enough.
then and then the Greylock incident happened,
So some at the
where
Union called for reinstatement of the pogrom, but there was no time to make such a drastic move. In 2006, an event took place that is now referred to as the Greylock Incident. Watchers indicated that an order of Hermes cell operating in the Pacific Northwest was a potential reality threat. The reality deviants involved referred to themselves as the Greylock Chantry. Intelligence suggested a project of theirs was about to reach a critical state of statistical inevitability that would cause a great environmental impact. In layman's terms, a massive explosion. On the one hand,
now.
I don't mind the little jokes here. On the other hand, by doing this, I kind of hate them for it because this is like some millennial tier writing.
Well, no, that's actually the term that they would use. In the newspeak part, they consider paradoxes statistical inevitability,
Oh
as the
yeah.
latter implies some superstitious misunderstanding of the cosmos.
Oh, I know, but like when you're writing this section, when you just kind of break it and then go in layman's
Oh,
turn, a massive explosion. I hate that.
yeah.
I hate that.
Now, there was an earthquake that happened in the Pacific Northwest in 2006. In this world, it seems a bunch of Iteration X combat constructs showed up, killed the Hermetics, and triggered the event.
And what ultimately happened was this was them going off the reservation. Iteration X did this without anyone, you know. This was just them.
However, you could say that the NWO has gone a little bit off as well, as they really are exploiting their newest methodology, the feed, the interconnected media, and the ability to find both extraordinary and enlightened citizens.
Joke's on you. I don't believe Zuckerberg is at all a member of the NWO. He's clearly an Iteration X construct. I mean, he's not capable of functioning as a human being. I don't believe
We
it.
can listen, we can reprogram them.
Like, I just don't buy that it's Zuckerberg's Facebook that is the example. I'm if I had to say who the NWO was, it was Twitter.
Oh,
Actually,
very much.
no, because remember, at one point Twitter was in the government's pocket. Why do you think it was so corrupted, specifically during Biden's term?
Well, of course, to control the methodology.
By the way,
I mean,
don't worry. The syndicate got their hands on it now, and they're running it into the ground equally as poorly. It's amazing.
as they state in the road ahead, the politicization of cable news, the Arab Spring, Occupy movement, death of the video store and rise of streaming media, the impact of Amazon on commercial trade, a rising China, TED Talks, overpopulation, smartphones, uh, all of this around the NWO's mind. And again, this would have been made in 2012. Definitely a lot more would have been on the fact that their control on the internet's not necessarily correct or all consuming, and that it can spawn kind of its own, well, memes.
Which is a concern because remember, consensus is operated by those who sleep as well as those awake.
And we currently have people in the world that legitimately believe that a certain mustache man was 100% right.
I was going to make the gag that it is because of the sleepers that we are on the bad timeline because a paradox event involving a poor gorilla resulted in this.
We then get
What I'm trying to say is that to use some millennial tier writing, um, thank you traditions for killing Harambe. Very cool.
so Truth in History is a section from the point of view of a paper by Sophia Pascal, pretty much criticizing the NWO. And as it says in the beginning, this dissertation caught my attention. Miss Pascal is a promising student in the Collegium of History, and after reading this paper, I think you will agree she makes a worthy candidate for professorship. I've attached her original with all the embedded mind procedures intact. Sanitize a copy before personally reading.
By the way, Zen Gunman has commented that old Twitter also had a suspicious number of feds working for it. That is true.
Which,
Hey, Galliard Group,
yeah,
we got to say that Yeezy was right. No.
No, actually, no. I think that would probably be better. Is that a mentally ill, failing pop star with a broken home life became a symbol for white nationalism?
I mean, if you think about it, that is one of the greatest mind control ops that the NWO has ever done.
No, I don't think why would the NWO want this conflict? They want everyone to be on the right side of things.
Hmm.
But I do like the point here. Embedded in the paper itself are mind controlling procedures.
Not too unsurprising. So the
They're talking
introduction, the New World Order, with its myriad of methodologies, has always been keenly understood how the collective will can change history. Thus, we work to safeguard that collective will. Under our stewardship, the unenlightened masses, the dumb thing is, this was written before Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. That's just what's playing in my head as I was reading.
I mean, I think they've always called them that.
No, I'm just collective consciousness. The song is just playing in my head as I'm reading this.
I mean, oh yeah, pretty much.
But though humanity has not yet achieved universal enlightenment, it is only a matter of time. Looking back at the accomplishments of the last decade alone, we have great difficulty in seeing anything beyond technocratic triumph. Uh, I wonder how they feel about the rise of using the computer to just push crap, like actual crap. Oh no,
I
you could totally cure yourself of a flu by taking horse medicine or fish tank cleaner. Here, have this homeopathic pest control device. Man, the Verbena are fucking killing it in the modern era.
they are. All right, the typical academic introduction, dryly setting a foundation, something many readers would skim. But look again, Pascal is a second layer of foundation, one intended to subvert the reader's psychological state. And she's even having a laugh as she's telling you in this last paragraph. History is influenced deeply by the collective will, as are you. And she's reshaping the reader's view of history. Clever woman.
I would say this is not a very clever in media res though.
Yeah.
It's a pretty mediocre in media res actually. So like I'm criticizing the original NWO one because it's done in the style of it's done in the style of formal writing, formal complaint writings and emails.
Well,
I
that
think
should work.
that
That
works better.
yeah.
I
Instead of
don't
the
mind this.
conversations.
Here's the thing. I don't mind this being from the point of view of an essay. The problem is this isn't formatted like an essay.
It yeah.
First off, essays are not done in this style. It should be double spaced and it should be like we're literally going like how is this styled as a proper essay would be? Like an actual
And
procedural
the way
paper.
so do I start with the technocratic theories? Do I go from one side to the other? Do I go all the way to the bottom and then up?
Where's the
It's confusing.
citations, by the way? This person actually would fail like fucking community college. No wonder the NWO is going to pot if this is the person they're fucking hiring to be a white suit. Holy
But
shit.
they break down, and essentially the three modes of history are the ones that are known today. Either sort of great hero or great people, which is the elitist, empowerment, which is more based on collective will, and then conspiratorial, which is schizo, the monkey men are doing this.
You could go it that way. I personally I really hate this in media res. What the fuck? Ah, God. Anyway, many of the men and women who had formed the Order of Reason came from walks of life that had afforded them an education. No fucking shit. Iteration X, do you want to know where they came from? Inspired blacksmiths originally. Blacksmiths, people who experimented with things like the aerophile and other neat little devices that you can make if you have a bit of technical know-how. Mostly your engineers. Where did your progenitors come from? Literally, Hippocrates. They came from those who studied basic medical sciences. Where did the
And see, that
NWO come from? They're the newest lads, but that's just because it required forming a cabinet to organize the lot.
So they then
And the
bring up,
Syndicate, they came from the original merchant class, the people who basically converted barter into something that can be done as shorthand. What the fuck?
but they then bring up the origins of the Order of Reason and their origins
Also,
beginning
Gallier
in.
Group is highlighting that yes, Mage Revise, when it's written like this, is stinky. It reeks. Look at this fucking piece of art. Look at this fucking goof shouting. "Ah!"
Charge!
Well, no, look at his face. He's experiencing a paradox moment.
He's morphing into a pig.
Is this Ethan Ralph's ancestor?
Kind of.
Oh god, and look, oh, I just realized what this is. This is from the English Civil War, I think.
Oh.
Because that's a roundhead helmet. This is a parliamentarian force about to kill the king.
Bro is
Lieutenant
soying.
Security, Bro Soy. Unironically, I could totally see someone from.
I, f-
I could see
I
someone from
fucking love enlightened philosophy.
I kind of want to see someone from the Shardy fucking convert this guy into a soy jack. I think it would work really well.
So we get
So
continuing
they
on
go into
to
stuff. The Siege of
18.
Mistrich.
They bring up eight going though for
Wait, this is
1837.
supposed to be the eight. This is supposed to be 10. Okay, this is 1210, right?
Yeah,
Okay, so there are many
or
things wrong with this. First off,
or oh wait, or 1325, or
that
I have
helmet
no.
was still not very popular during this time period. This is a 16th and 15th century helmet. Also,
Or was it?
you have the iron cap, which is more common. You also have early Iron Age hat. Oh, what is this fucking military?
It's a time military. It's from time.
I could totally. I mean, maybe that's what happened. Maybe mages just summoned warriors through time and space. Speaking of which, new idea for not a mage campaign, but a hunter campaign where you play the Doomslayer and you have been summoned through time via a horrible paradox accident by a cabal of mages. And you must rip and tear the demons in this world until you are done.
You just know solo their ability to warp reality by just your sheer hatred of demons.
Why not? So yeah, they're talking about the Order of Reason, but the problem is these guys are kind of the new kids on the block, so none of this shit matters. Well, it does. It gives you
Well,
context, but
until 1837, the beginning of the Victorian era.
yeah.
According to
Seriously, this is written
Terence
so
White,
fucking obnoxiously.
Victoria was not enlightened or even extraordinary, but her idealism and empire building inspired the Union, while key members of the Union's leadership at the time advised Victoria how best to lead her empire. Oh boy, the
Victor-
NWO is based on Victorian English ideas.
which is one of the decisions of all time you could have done. You want to know what I would have probably have gone instead with? You could go one of two ways. You could go with the Masonic lodges, but I think
Yep.
another one is you could do the German secret brotherhood of the Illuminati.
I mean, I feel like that's too easy.
True, but like Queen Vicky? Really?
Well, it was during the Great Exhibition of London where the enlightened scientists of the Western world gathered under the Crystal Palace, and
Fun fact, the
there we
Crystal
go.
Palace was built for a World Fair event, and it lasted until I think the 1870s when it randomly got destroyed in a fire. It was never rebuilt, though.
This then created the Skeleton Keys, the activities of Detective Sergeant Crispin and Inspector Rathbone within Scotland Yard.
Zen Gunman actually agrees with you that it should be Vicky. I don't know. There's just something in my brain where it's like a little weird.
And Rathbone was invited to a private audience with Queen Victoria and Reginald Proctor, and he shortly joined his force of those of the Union. The Skeleton Keys were incorporated into the Lightkeepers, a
No,
convention that
it's
would
even
evolve into
dumber
the New
than
World
that.
Order.
It's not even Vicky. The person who founded the NWO was Prince Albert, her husband. Oh, that's
Do you have an
fantastic.
Do you have him in a can?
Well, you better let him out. By the
Haha.
way, I think that joke is specifically about his son, who is also named Albert, who was a notorious womanizer and a drug, not necessarily a drug addict, but like a debauched fucking pig.
And the metaphorical cleansing fire to which I refer to this period is known as the grand house cleaning. It's rather an innocuous term for a quite ruthlessly efficient internal culling. After until Victoria performed a top-to-bottom internal investigation. Records of Victorian era wet work not being highly valued data by that generation to keep, the number of less than model unions to be disposed of, if ineligible for rehabilitation, is unknown. The stamping out of the spiritualist movement was a consequence of this reinvigorated progress, a side benefit to a newly renewed devotion to program activity. Now she's directing that anger. Her feminist views built up slowly to this point in order not to appear as though this dissertation was better suited for the Collegium of Gender Studies. She's well aware that the Collegium of Gender Studies papers often fail because of inherent biases. But
What?
here, no, she's able to slide in viewpoints that question union leadership, not just of yesteryear, but also of today.
I threw a bottle cap at my screen. Fuck you. Fuck
And she
you.
brings up World War One, World War Two.
But by the way, one of the things I absolutely hate about this in media res is this is coming from the point of view of a member of the NWO reading this piece of shit paper, right?
Yeah, and I gotta be, the NWO guy's probably a little bit of a piece of shit himself.
Well, no, because the way it's being written, this is literally Yaz queening this fucking person. It's really annoying. And it's also bragging about your own writing. The person who wrote this section is honest to God patting themselves on the back for having a specific tone of voice. And that is the lamest fucking thing you could do in a book.
Also, Zengerman, yes, they bring up the Collegium of Gender Studies. I like it as a bit of a shit post.
No, that was on purpose. This is 2012. That's partially on
It
purpose,
is,
and you
but I
know
like
it.
as just like the way though that the NWO reacts to, I guess, the changing world and changing social dynamics.
You know the funny thing is, Queen Vicky was actually a very much anti-feminist in general. She actually was a self-loathing woman. I'm not even kidding. She hated the concept of women's suffrage. I'm not. She was very much in the traditionalist vein in this regard. Women shouldn't vote. They should attend to the household. By the way, she was also kind of a petty and catty bitch in that after her husband died, she stayed forever in mourning and would intentionally shit up and fucking ruin moments of revelry just to kind of subtly remind people my husband is dead. In fairness, it's also because she genuinely loved him. It was one of those rare marriages that actually turned into like full on love,
Oh,
and basically his death gutted her. Also, at this
but
point, Queen Vicky was in a chair because, interesting fact, she had a fall in 1882, almost died, and ever since then she struggled to walk. So for like the last 20 or so years of her reign, she mostly preferred sitting.
so as we continue though, they bring up again the
Also,
new.
one more thing, Gallard Group actually has an excellent idea of, I think the NWO starting as a Chinese bureaucratic faction of mages makes a lot more sense.
But remember, Asia different.
Oh yeah, their souls are different. When you die in Asia, you go to a different hell. Also, you become a different monster if you get embraced. But basically, they operate on the eco-fascist tenet of my blood, my soil. What did White Wolf mean by this?
But they do bring up that the
By the
ivory
way, Onyx
tower.
Path was also guilty of this. If you've ever read the shit show that was Changing Breeds, thank you, Phil Mercado. Your changing breed literally changes if your family has been on the continent for too long. So a Bastet line, for example, from Africa, will eventually shift into either pumas or something like fucking raccoons. I'm not even kidding. Sorry about that. I just
Well,
it's
moving,
it's
moving.
it's
They bring
nuts.
up this one person, Yuki Ishida, who got probably killed by pointing out that 94% of black suit constructs are male, while females only made up 6%, and that they and that the ivory tower downplays the technological innovation of China and the sort of shutting of women into anything other than administrative duties.
What page is this? Because I have tuned out from this
30.
section. This is actually one of the worst. This book is
So,
dog
like,
shit.
so, like most men, when threatened by women, they kill them.
Uh-huh. I have another bottle cap for you. V for victory, motherfucker. Hey, did you know that despite the
But
fact that Onyx Path only makes up 1% of the writing group, they make up 88% of the feedbackophobia on every project they've ever touched?
and also, I was gonna make a who's the guy who made a Beast again?
Oh yeah, that guy.
That, but I was trying to that they make up a certain number of degenerates, but this is the RPG space. We're all degenerate.
Yeah, yeah. Once you play any of these games too long, I'm sorry, but you probably have some very interesting files on hand.
I just do like though that saying, hey, maybe we should make women, not have patriarchal views if we're gonna try to get everyone on board. Killer.
You know, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. There is a book that we read that was in the World of Darkness that also covered that topic. Do you want to know what it was called?
What book?
The Get of Fenris covered sexism better than this piece of shit book has already done. Because it handles it genuinely better.
But I also do like is that somehow they can't also mind wipe away these radical thoughts from the next generation.
But by the way, here's the other stupid thing. So, okay. This is complaining about what the Men in Black constructs are and how they have to always be Men in Black. Even though, even though the entire thing is, as a New World Order agent, you would be well aware of the mental constructs. Like it's not even arguing from a logical point of view, right? Because you know what you could do with a female man in black. You could do a lot more subtle forms of infiltration with that, right?
Yeah.
Because women are tend to be seen with more kids glove or as harmless compared to a dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's not even coming at it from that. It's coming from the I am very angry that this physically demanding task is mostly men, even though there are biological construct reasons for why this would make the sense, especially from Paradigm, right?
Yeah.
You all you have to do is play with that, like highlight, hey, maybe we should adjust the paradigm so that people see women as capable of doing similar things, especially when you point out things like life sphere augmentation.
Because again, this is Mage. Yes, if the
Like you
paradigm
have to
worked
play with it, but in
literally, you literally be like, make it so that yeah, there are no differences between sexes.
like for fuck's sake. I
But on,
I understand the thing because the
then
New
again,
World
then
Order.
again, that could be a way. If you have more women in a position, it makes it normalized. Therefore, consensus tolerates it.
Correct. And that is why what they should have done instead is they should have highlighted that consensus thing and make it less a hack-handed attempt to cry about being an old boys club, because this was the thing. This is where the rot's beginning to set in, because this was a big thing that also dogged the Sons of Ether and several other organizations like this.
You mean the gender-neutral Society of Ether?
I mean, I don't necessarily hate them being opened up, like the whole men's club being opened up thing. It's just you got to handle it with some panache, some sense, some logic. The Get Fenris did that fine because they highlighted, hey, we had, very impressive ladies, including an entire lot who likely became Black Furies because of our fucking poor treatment of them. We need to stop being stupid. Like, you humans are being stupid.
But of course, also Black Furies. Yeah, we're not gonna. They're just gonna stay all women.
They got criticized, by the way, I think in one of the earlier books for that, or at least some of the other books highlight and point out how hypocritical that is.
Oh yeah, that is. Yeah, you
See,
basically just give up
this
all.
this is my problem with this kind of take, where it's like, okay, if you give people a martyr, they will win their argument. We could have used someone like Pascal to remind us of that. Oh, sorry, I the evil white male bureaucrat he probably is white. The evil white male bureaucrat couldn't see through the. Oh my god, I'm actually getting infuriated at this fucking book. I'm actually getting infuriated at this book. This is like the
Don't
goofus to the
listen. Don't worry.
to
Well,
the
don't
Hermetics
worry.
gallant.
A good cleansing and reprocessing will help. If not, Room 101.
One of the
I
newest
think
of the collegiate gender studies is small and underfunded. No, it fucking isn't!
to
It,
quell the cries against feminists being silenced or ignored by the various deans. In practice, it's a box in which to place certain subversive thoughts. The Collegium knows that, and it takes great effort to find those in other departments who share sympathies, encouraging them to change their respective collegia from within. Wait a
Mention
minute.
America outside culo,
That's literally what the
motherfucker!
right wing march through the institutions bullshit is from.
Mention America into culo, motherfucker!
You're literally
Chingada!
what did they mean by this?
God, I fucking hate this book. Wow.
Culture
Wow.
Are they trying to talk about cultural Marxism?
Just for fun fact, just as a fun fact, this is rated half a point higher on RPGDriveThru.net. And I have linked to this copy because I mistakenly thought that it would be much more like the Order of Hermes book that we fucking read. I thought it was going to be more like that. I thought it might have been more like the Get book we fucking read. Woo-wee! Jesus Christ. So where were we? I'm already like loathing this piece of shit. You have to
I
be
do like.
very stupid or very I hate. Okay, I'm moving
I'm
on.
gonna move to page 36, Sayer. Conversely, the Collegium must work towards a definitive foundation for a unified historic theory. By laying the foundation of a history to which we can all agree, we can lay a firm foundation for our operatives to stand on. It must be through unity and a desire to support the collective will. Oh, so she's a communist.
Well, here's the funny thing. They're accidentally revealing, like, they're actually kind of doing the weird. This is actual cultural Marxism if you think about it,
Is it? Does it? Though
because they're infiltrating academia to
they're
specifically
infiltrating,
spread
but
this.
also at the same time advocating for a modernist, not even a postmodernist or a meta-modernist approach, but instead, no, we will have one unified theory. Everything in the world can be shaped into one idea. And that honestly could be a way to poke fun at the NWO. Is that it is this idea that you can have only one world of you, and one idea can exist.
Well, here's
Our
another
idea.
funny thing. This is actually kind of pre. This is actually including the. If you think about it, this is a really great shit post on the idea of the Rainbow Alliance concept, where you interlock all of these people that have different beliefs just on the concept of inclusivity. So you include people you think who have been disadvantaged by the system, who historically hated each other for a variety of reasons, all right? Like, this is unironically making fun of diversity. Yeah, let's take populations of people that genuinely hate other populations of people. Yeah, I would totally believe it'd be fine to try to link gays with the black community or the Latino community. Hey, let's include some pro sex work shit among the Catholics who think that the concept of that shit is taboo. Hey, let's try to interlock the Muslims with this. This'll go fucking well. Hey, let's try to force them to work with the Hindus. Oh, why are they fighting? Wait, why are the Muslims working on the far right? Why are they trying to grift the far right? No, no, that bad thought, bad thought. Why are you working with the white Christian national? No, no! By the way, it ends with a masturbatory self-congratulation. The writer
She's
clearly having an
clever,
O
isn't she?
face.
but she's not getting the job she wants. But don't worry, Piotr. We've already processed the undergraduates who have read this paper.
I would have just given this an F. By the way, the best part is you like how she couldn't even be arsed to write her own name as a signature. And also notice that this isn't even written like a paper. This is written like a shitty pamphlet you'd get in a church.
Well,
So that's
yeah,
30 pages of spread open butt cheek diarrhea, bloody vomit inducing diarrhea.
yeah, we did already go over, I'd
That
say, sort of the
this book
relationship they have
cannot
with
get
the other
higher than a playable.
conventions. I'd move on to page 40, talking about how they relate to the other traditions.
True, we could skip the conventions because it's very brief. Iteration X, while not hit as hard by being cut off from off-world facilities as the Void Engineers, they set up quite a bit of, setbacks as well.
Yeah.
Look at
They
these
have a few
freakazoids.
statisticians to be on loan for the feed.
I like how the
Proje-
Iteration X member has honest to God fetal alcohol syndrome.
yeah.
Sloth love junk.
Progenitors have been very mercenary, from pharmacopoeias selling masses of a variety of drugs to facade engineers selling and leasing clones and biological constructs to other conventions.
Fair enough. And then we got the Syndicate, among the Union, NWO, and Syndicate best
Their
weathered the
recent
loss.
financial chaos worldwide is the latest syndicate fuck up, an unsanctioned hyper-economics experiment the masses rejected. I love that the experiment they rejected is uh
Uncontrolled
lowering the
housing
lowering
regulation.
yeah, uncontrolled housing regulation. Just what if we lowered the barrier to entry? Oh no, paradox.
I'm now reminded of, remember, housing prices are skyrocketing because of literal speculation and a bunch of mega corporations owning all these lands. So what happened is, less than a decade later, we'll fucking do it again.
So,
We'll fucking do it
and
again.
also another problem is media control. What do you mean no one's believing in the traditional media that we've created? What do you mean they can get funding online through through the various items we set up?
Galler grip. No, it's not Obama
Wait.
cast the money spell. Little did they know, Obama was actually a traditionalist all along. He was a hidden member of the Society of Aether.
I actually could see because this is also when steampunk was popular. It's just Obama and a steampunk blimp.
He's responsible for the housing collapse specifically, so that he can.
Well, no. It would have been it would have been that extraordinary citizen of the syndicate, Karl Rove.
Yeah.
I I would like to see like the NWO looking. It's like, wait a minute, they like him even they like him on the far right even though he's gay.
Well, I mean, the far right is filled with gays. It's fine.
I know it's just like, but they
Like,
traditionally hate that.
let's be blunt. The far right is filled with gays and brown people.
I actually would like to see if they'd investigate Nick Fuentes as a marauder.
I don't think
This guy
he's a
was spot.
marauder. I think he's just. Let me think. I would argue that he is a fuck up. Oh god, I don't. I would not even make him a mage. See, I could understand making Darkside Phil a mage. I could see him easily being like a low level syndicate goon. Like I could see him being that.
But then
Fuentes. I mean, no, no. Okay, hear me out. Potential inductee to the NWO until he fucked up, but he's still awoken, so he technically has the Mind Sphere, and that's the only reason that he's not up Shit's Creek without a paddle.
or he's somehow a changeling, but just a very bad one.
There's
Hence
a
why
fun
he's lazy.
hypothesis that he's a Lasombra ghoul.
Sombra.
That actually makes a lot of sense because the man's life, he ruined his own life.
He also doesn't go outside that much. He does stuff late at night.
And he also eats an unholy amount of McDonald's.
You're right. He's trying to kill his vampire leader, Ollie
Also, don't forget
Alexander.
he's pretending. Don't forget he's pretending that he gives a shit about religion, just like Lasombra.
Ah.
But yeah, as for how the traditions, here's what the NWO thinks on each of them. Akashic Brotherhood. The Akashic Brotherhood's members among the most resolute against their mind procedures, as their philosophies involve heavy use of their own mind. Basically, they're two alike.
The way to stop them, overwhelm them.
Celestial Course. To suborn those who hold
Also,
so
wait, I
closely to
don't think we
religious
got. Hold
doctrine,
on,
one must
we didn't
suborn
get.
the doctrine itself.
Yeah, we didn't get to the Void Engineers, which, if they're helping patrol the internet for virtual adept interference.
That's about it, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Celestial Course, I like this one. We must suborn the doctrine itself. This book is actually kind of really funny because it
Here,
predicts a lot of the stuff that happens in entertainment and culture.
here, Agent. Read the entire 30 volumes of the Talmud.
So
That
we
way
have
you can
learned
infiltrate this rabbinic chantry.
so we have learned two things. The first is that they are responsible for the Roblox grooming problems. The second problem with the NWO, we have now found out that they have been responsible for destroying Star Wars by trying to update it towards a modern audience. Because remember, you have to suborn the doctrine itself. They're literally explaining how you absolutely shit up anything.
Yeah. Also, Nicholas, Bitcoin, it's a syndicate experiment.
Syndicate
It's all about
hypermoney
it.
experiment.
It's apps. It's the idea of it's money, but it doesn't exist. It's not even a physical thing.
It's an attempt to.
Virtual adept, on the other hand, blockchain. The concept of the blockchain, I would argue.
I would actually say no. Both are hypermoney experiments. But the syndicate's concept is this: they wanted to take money to its absolute highest level, right? And what's higher than having a form of currency that is universally capable of being used by everything with no ties to government, no ties to taxation, no ties to any of that, right? No regulation, completely unregulated, money incarnate. The problem is they're running against the domain and paradigm of the virtual adepts. And while they like the idea, they don't like them stepping on their turf. So their little turf war is resulting in the hypermoney failures. Essentially, they're
Wow.
getting into little wars, and Paradox kind of slowly built up in both.
Now, cult of ecstasy, statistically most likely to have exploitable outside relationships. While they'll be aware of tampering to illicit drugs, their dealers, lovers, and DJs, anyone they come in contact with, can be threatened, processed, or cloned. Dream speakers.
Also, if you're wondering, the Cult of Ecstasy, they're not the ones actually responsible for OnlyFans. That's the Celestial Chorus. Because remember, APAC and Israel are their biggest suppliers.
I mean, no, I would say Pentax at that point.
No, OnlyFans is actually run by like a genuine Israeli who uses their
Yes,
money.
who owns a subsidiary of Pentax.
Fair enough. Dream speakers.
While this group does not have a history of being particularly rational,
They're even more insular and crazy now.
I feel like that's still a little racist.
Hey, Gallagher Group actually adds a little bit of like no, it is correct. Bitcoin was their attempt because the syndicate's mass ascension and revised was a cashless currency controlled by them.
Also, Lieutenant, Jewish corn, if it's through a hole in a bedsheet.
The Athanatoi, these adepts are at entropy influence are dangerous foes, and that's before you consider their philosophy on outright murder.
Use the distrust of other traditions, have them as a weapon. Frame them for murder, alert authorities, plant seeds of suspicion among their chantry allies. Hollow ones. Make them discard their notion of loner superiority. Surround them with threats, none that can be directly tied to you.
And the Order of
Order of
Hermes, a
Hermes.
hermetic is nothing if not utterly elitist, which is as much a
Get it.
benefit
Well,
as a hurdle.
yeah. Get them while they're young. Offer them a welcoming environment and academic mobility, and then they'll daydream about such freedoms while taking abuse from their hermetic mentors.
Essentially, yeah, get them while they're young. Sons of Aether, there are two
Sons
sorts. Those who just glue a few brass gears onto something and call it science, and those who genuinely practice science before taking a wrong turn. Again, conversion.
Yep. Or get a former etherite to tour them around a facility and let the seeds of doubt grow. Verbena.
These ones are very hard to convert.
Heart. Now, female black and gray suits are effective espionage agents, as their militaristic female empowerment ideology has a blind spot against women in the Union.
Fifth bottle
While it
cap.
may seem intuitive to use operatives from the Collegium of Gender Studies to assist, the Rain of views such women as sellouts.
Motherfucker, I need a sixth one on this. Fuck you.
Those we have been able to suborn, which are 83% male, are unfortunately unstable for gender work, as they're inert to violence and adept life influence. They make effective field medics.
I've actually run out of bottle caps to throw at them. Fuck!
Virtual adepts. People trust keyboard and screen more than they do doing business in a virtual reality. And the virtual adepts are very, very sore losers. Thankfully, we've trapped them in various VR algorithms that have forced and sent in our gooning memes,
Oh, the problem
and
is that
effectively
they'll
have
turn it
inured them.
around. Yeah, the female empowerment shit, like that is, it is genuinely obnoxious. That is
Let me see
genuinely
how many
fucking
women were
stupid.
how many women were involved in writing this. One woman was involved in writing this. I can see why.
No, it wasn't even the woman who wrote this. You know, it was the dudes who were writing this trying to simp for them. And it was
Yeah, that's what I'm
really
saying.
fucking lame.
That's what I'm saying. There was only one woman, 4 men, and
Ugh.
the 4 men just kind of did what they wanted to do.
This book was a mistake.
Other reality deviants. Nefandi, kill him.
Just kill them.
Marauders, kill him.
Yeah, just kill. Like, there's vampires. There's
Eh,
no hope and
ignore him.
hostilities between the vampires and technocracy. They are content to keep to their masquerade, and we are content to let them. Basically, as long as they don't cause
Yeah.
any trouble.
Werewolves. To our great surprise, werewolves have not yet died out.
By the way, there are members of the World Order that might be nefandous.
Ghosts fall under the Void Engineers. Data on fairies is contradictory. Those with hunters continue to wage war against vampires and anti-reality forces, so long as they do not trigger a reaction that puts masses in danger or otherwise threaten their interests. We're content to let them do without their business.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised, Nicholas, since again, I kind of remember Revised not being this fucking terrible. I mean, we've covered several Revised books, at least one or two, and like, where the hell is this shit coming from? Ugh.
Well, going then next.
No, Ossel, I have thrown at least 6. I have lost all of my bottle caps, and I'm gonna be very frustrated since I'm gonna have to clean that shit up.
Also, I believe somebody has entered our chat.
Polls closed due to AIDS, due to vampiric AIDS.
Honestly, that's probably for the best, given how fucking terrible this book has been.
So, remind me again, is New World of Darkness V5 Vampire?
We're not
I don't
doing
know
New World
how
of
these fucking
Darkness.
editions. Oh,
We're
well,
doing
no,
Old
my
World.
information's out of date.
Well,
Hey
we are
there,
My
doing
information's horribly out of date.
we are doing the New World Order for which would be revised, which would have been for this would have been before Mage 20th. So this is for World of Darkness revised.
So,
Oh, when you were in like the group chat, I thought you meant like I thought that was an abbreviation for New World of Darkness.
nope, New World Order.
So, does this focus on wrestling? Is that what this book's about?
No, this focuses
unironically,
on
that would have been an improvement.
Yeah.
Okay, the original concept of the New World Order is they're the men in black. Do not adjust your set. Do not control. They control your thoughts. They are the guys who were responsible for the song Collective Consciousness from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. They're essentially the Patriots and the sons of the, they're essentially the Patriots from Metal Gear Solid.
Now, I'm just walking in here and I'm just gonna shut it up. So,
No, you're
out of
actually, like, this book
curiosity,
is dog shit. It's fine.
are they basically saying, oh yeah, vampires rule the world, or is it
No,
Jews
no.
that
Oh,
rule the
God,
world?
no.
No,
Who runs the world?
They
we
do.
do.
What do you mean they?
We.
We are the they
Oh.
in the conspiracies. We are the black helicopters. We are the people that mind control you and
Though that now has taken a back seat to academic papers and feminism.
Yeah, this book is actual dog shit. Like, you actually missed. It was 30 pages of a non-formatted piece of Here's the fucked up thing. These clowns were college educated, I imagine. The people who wrote this piece of shit have degrees. They know what a college paper looks like. They couldn't
What you're
even
telling me is,
reach the bar of a community college associate's degree pile of shit.
Then
are you telling me
again,
Francis
then
E.
again, I don't know how writing an actual academic paper would flow within this.
It doesn't. This was a
Are you
mistake.
are you telling me this is if Francis E. Deck made a World of Darkness splat?
Francis C. Deck writing a World of Darkness splat would have been better. Like, think about it. You got the communist gangster computer god. That's a fucking
The
banger of an idea.
Mindsight brainwave telegram machines.
So I take it this is one of those nights where you've just given up.
I haven't
No.
given up yet, but this
We're
book
gonna
is
go
horseshit.
yeah. To go through further,
Well,
we are
no,
talking
like,
about
just in short, basically what happened was we went through the history of it, which is written in the form of a pseudo-academic paper. The reason that we're so harsh on it is there are sections where the agent, I'm putting this in air quotes because it's also the author, reading it is applauding the genius of their own creation. Like, this is stuff you'd see. Did Justin Achille write this? Were these people eventually hired on by Renegade? Is this like some of the writers for the fifth edition? Because it reads like a fifth edition book.
uh apparently David Hill wrote this, then would transition 10
Oh
years later.
fuck, let me see. Dave, did you actually write? Did the creator of the hit book I Hunt write this piece of shit?
Wait, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Oh god, that explains everything. Okay, that explains everything. Yeah, David Hill wrote
Dear
this piece of
viewer,
garbage.
please refer to the iHunt video in which a man balls about not
Well,
being
that
able to
actually
kill Jewish
make
people.
hold on, that actually makes sense. Talking on page 47, getting your foot in the door. One of the themes of the New World Order is devotion. You have to put the job first no matter what. This is a 24/7 gig. Family, love, booze, your thimble collection, whatever is important to you, you put it aside for the job.
Reminder that this is rated higher
Yeah,
than the original book. We could have chosen to read first edition, which would have been a lot better. We could have chosen to do that. This is rated an entire half point below this piece of shit. I don't know how.
that explains the millennial
Oh
humor.
god. So David Hill was never actually good. Like, we're reading a David Hill book, and this is dog shit.
Now, did you know that going into this, or was that just a happy little accident?
I didn't
Complete
know.
accident. Complete fucking accident. Do you want to know why I originally chose this one? It was specifically because A, it would account for technologies that mages wouldn't have dealt with in the 90s. And B, I repeatedly saw that it had a little more nuance than the original Technocracy books. I can tell you right now, we're never doing a fucking revised Technocracy book again. We're gonna only do the first edition versions, and we'll pull out the revised ones to see where they become. Because holy fuck, screw this book. Fuck this book.
The hollowed halls of academia. Colleges and universities
You
where
know,
the ivory
I
tower
just
focuses much
realized
of its equipment.
You know the thing I hate most? This fucking Mong, this fucking dipshit, has chosen to write the New World Order, the man behind the screen, the person behind the person playing the chessboard, as a fucking college. Did David Hill actually flunk? I'm actually curious. What was their GPA? I'm curious. How many times did they have to repeat a class and blow a lot of money? How much of their student debt was just because they had to redo like 5 fucking classes because they were just that dog shit?
I'm
Say
now
3.
look.
The
Hold on.
number 3.
The collegia are organized along the same lines as a modern university with the same kinds of strengths and weaknesses. Page 48. They're looking for people who can wolf down thousands of pages of information per week and spit out salient policy statements. They send undercover agents to scout new talent in the finest schools in the world. Those agents pose as peers more often than authority figures, since they know the damn kids are going to lie to power instinctually.
This
One
is
might be
not
the
how
What
the
you're
cool
telling me,
chick in the coffee bar or the awesome guy in the frat house who just seems to get them. Little do the students know their newfound friend is scoping them out to become or to be serving a vast global conspiracy.
this is the novel version of passing a kidney stone while your appendix is bursting in a dive bar in southern Georgia, south of Atlanta. This is you moaning on the ground in agony as your kidneys start whizzing red.
Well, the good news is the police and intelligence community section
Jesus
didn't
Christ.
result in a rant about the cops going into police brutality.
That, let's take our victories while we still can.
And then the fourth estate. You see, the best people we need to advance our global agenda? Journalists.
Journalists have lower standards than hookers. As in,
Exactly.
I could bribe a journo with a Chipotle coupon, and they would willingly destroy their reputation and dignity way before I could get a hooker to let me do butt stuff with them.
So, Lieutenant, they do say, yeah, that the gray suits are employing a lot of three-letter agencies.
But
But
they reference it really quickly. But no, this is the journo. Hey, remember when people pretended journo scum was actually worth a fuck?
so this means the NWO are populated by academics, glowies,
God, no
and
wonder
journalists.
no wonder the eternal and forever gay end of history is falling apart. The
What?
leadership was the only thing keeping these fucking idiots together. Actually, if you
What
think
does this
about
have
it,
to?
the collapse of the neoliberal fucking globo homo shit heap makes a lot of sense if you factor in that the people running it are dead.
I mean, okay, I get all that, but what does this have to do with the mages? You know, the people that do the magics and paradoxes
Well, the
and
problem
shit.
is
Well,
this is a Dave Hill book.
they do go into, I guess, the methodologies, and that's how it operates. Because remember, it's like a college, so they now have methodologies,
For
which
So
they did have
for a
they
half
did have
second.
previously. They did have previously, which is correct, but at the same time, it hurts a little bit more.
For a half
okay,
second,
so
I
if I
swear to God that I actually suffered a minor aneurysm because I thought for a brief
now,
moment I was bleeding from my nose.
all right, so from what I understand, so this is supposed to be like a faction of the technocracy that we're reading about, not like
Yes,
actual
they're
Illuminati in the world of
they're the
darkness. That
faction. They're the faction that shape minds and narratives.
So here's the thing. Biggs, he's a werewolf guy. He likes to punch things, so he very much prefers werewolf. Very quickly, the Technocracy is the Illuminati. They are the big gay cabal of mages that believe in super science. If you've ever seen the Venture Brothers, they're Venture Industries. And the way they work,
I'm aware that the technocracy is that they
That's
actually want the big singularity.
that's actually a little bit insulting to technocracy.
uh,
You see, the technocracy's
as we
technology
read this
actually
book, no,
works.
as we're reading this book, no. So they're divided into a series of wizards. There are the Iteration X guys, which you would probably
Robots.
compare to Cyberdyne Systems, the Terminator guys. There's the Progenitors, which believe in building things like amoebas that can kill everyone, and or the superhuman. There
The
is
syndicate
the Syndicate, which is the power of money, and then
and
there's the
void
New World
engineers,
Order.
which is
Oh,
well,
the
no, the
Void
void
Engineers.
engineers, which is space,
Basically, Elon Musk screaming as he explodes in his new rocket. And then
or
finally, you got
space
the
marines,
NWO, which are
which are
the
college students.
no, they're not. They are supposed to wrangle everyone. They're essentially the minders of the others, and their entire thing is control. Because they are a cabal of highly English. It was basically a smoking lodge club that was founded by Queen Vic, and they basically ran the other ones. And their entire thing is control. Control of the mind, what you think. They're the memesters. They're the glowies. They're the glowies that feed you those memes to make you fed post. They're the ones that are like, oh yeah, you should totally go to insert community center run by religion here with insert prohibited form of firearm here and do redacted here so that we can push our policy of remove power from the masses here.
I'm a little disappointed this isn't just like like the actual Illuminati having to deal with denizens of the world of darkness.
Well, no, that's the thing they do because the New World Order basically has to wrangle in the other guys. Like if they have to run into a vampire too big for their britches, they squish them. Werewolves sometimes fuck up the table plan because they have this thing called the timetable. Werewolves sometimes fuck that up because they have an alliance with Pentex, so they have to squish them. Other mages fuck with them because they want to have their version of reality become truth, so they have to squish
Okay.
them. Changelings
understand that.
are, I mean, honestly, just kill changelings. Total changeling
Nope.
death.
So I think what I've learned here today is that Mage is a hard game, and the only people that know how to play it are power gamers. So don't even bother, or else you're going to get horribly written shit like this by David Hill.
You're saying that, but do you know what some of the bullshit you can do with a changeling includes?
A lot of bullshit, I know, because like there's actually like fantasy goblins and shit like that.
So, fun fact: there is a breed of changeling known as trolls. They can effectively get infinite health if you let them. They are literally unkillable if you let them set up. There are also types of changelings that just have the ability to lift you up forever and then just have the fall damage kill you. And basically, they have even less rules guiding them than mages do, because at least with mage, you have to explain why your magic works. I'm going to use an example. Let's say I want to you have a coworker you hate and you just want to have something bad happen to them slightly.
Yes.
Okay, so there's a lot of ways you can do this. For example, you can use your power of predicting things via entropy, and then combine that with correspondence to accurately predict the exact moment that this guy is most likely to trip down the stairs. And then use a little bit of force, subtly, to make him trip. If you just want him to feel pain, you could also, using the power of life, give him appendicitis. Life and a bit of entropy, give him appendicitis. You have to have correspondence as well to locate it.
The problem is though, if he had his appendix removed and you do give him appendicitis, there's no way to explain that, and so Paradox is gonna bounce
Yeah,
back
but
at you.
basically you gotta chain your spheres, and if that's a little too hard, there's these things called rotes, which are just the dummy's guide of being a wizard. It's really neat.
Or if not, you just shoot them.
And the entire thing is
Assumption.
all technocratic agents except the void engineers believe in because Nicholas Lewis pointed out they all have a form of programming. Basically, you're inducted into a cult, and they induct you into the cult, and you're forced to do the chicken dance until your brain breaks.
And this cult is led by the Ivory Tower, and their belief that everything can be put into one simple box. History, reality, all of it can be their vision. And
Well,
they're
think about
very
it
good
like
at
this:
promoting that.
the humanity's collective will is what ultimately determines the rules for reality, right?
Hmm.
If you control if you control the masses, you control what reality is. And what better way to
To,
do that than by telling them what to think and making them follow it?
but now, as it turns out, even the people trying to remake reality are having debates on how to do that.
And the problem is it's written like a really shitty college
Which,
group rather than
Yeah.
the shadowy government cabal that they were mostly originally based on. And that is
So
dog shit.
I know we're just talking about fucking Mage now, but the basics of Mage. That's how bad this book is. But
Oh
how
yeah,
good
this
of a
is an
glue for
improvement.
we're gonna,
I much prefer
yeah,
this.
here we're gonna
how good
go.
of a glue like just had somebody assume something and said like it must have been like the wind or something like that when like you use your bullshit magic to fuck with them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you could do that.
it's called there's coincidental magic, which is where you basically make it look like something. Like let's say you want someone to die. If you want to make it look subtle, you can use their life sphere to just give them a heart attack, right? You interact with life, maybe prime, I don't know. You might have to chain a couple spheres. Don't worry, the storyteller can tell you what spheres to chain if you're not sure. That's the point of a mage storyteller. They're supposed to tell you what spheres can work. They're also supposed to give you a cheat sheet to help you figure this out. You can do that, but if you just want to say go wacky and just eat paradox, you could just turn their heart into a rutabaga and just make people scream at the mistake that God gave them. Because you can't really live with a rutabaga instead of a heart.
But moving on to the rest of this book, I'd like to direct us to page 55.
Well, no, because I don't. Biggs, did you hear them shill for the media? Like literally shill for journo scum. How's that
Yeah, you
working
just
out
told
for
me.
you?
Well, what this has told me is much like my base red pill beliefs, the media is in league with our government in order to influence our opinions and to tell us that werewolves aren't real.
You
So
know
I mean,
you're
I
joking,
always
but
knew it. Well,
unironically, the rise of mass media is something they're trying to control. But that's the thing; it's also making them lose control. Ironically,
what did
this
David
book,
Hill mean?
yeah, I don't know. It's weird because there's like great moments like that. Like it's like, oh god, it makes sense. But the problem is, it's coming at this from like the wrong angle. Like it's trying to understand it from the dumbest way.
What did David Hill mean by this?
But we need to talk about men and women in black. The methodology's field agents used to go by a more sexist name, the men in black, because men has always meant the male sex. The term
Mothman
arose
was
from
like,
unenlightened conspiracy theorist circles in the 1950s. In the last decade, however, the ivory tower finally decided to put an end to this use of this outdated and sexist term. A significant number of operatives are women, constructs who used to be women or identify as women.
Yeah,
The
if
collegium
you're
of
wondering, here it
gender.
is.
Then again, with the progenitors, yes, you could effectively literally change sex.
You
So
could, but this is one of the dumbest things you could have done. By the way, here's that section right here. I have to
the
agree, Lieutenant
Collegium of
Sec. This
yeah
sucks.
of Gender Studies issued a policy directive saying that from the point onward, the term man in black or gray or white was no longer to be utilized, even in private conversation. Naturally, there was resistance to this idea from older amalgams and agents. This was quickly and officially addressed by a handful of white suits detailed to the Collegium for the project.
And this is why the New World Order's losing the Paradigm War.
Because they're killing their own agents
Their own,
over this
they're
kind of
more
shit.
competent agents, by the way, the ones that actually weathered the storm.
What did I miss? Oh no, gender politics.
Hey, what's going on? Oh no. Yeah, it turned out this was a David Hill book. None of us knew when we walked into this piece of shit. Well, actually, no. Us, the stream, the Dice Scum crew, did not know. Galler Grip, you fuckers, you knew. You knew. You...
But then so those were the
we got
operatives.
played.
We did the ivory tower. Now we have the Watchers.
Which, by the way, these are the actual structures for the NWO.
These are the journalists.
He's partially joking, but partially not because of how they've been rewritten.
Well, field observers, field reporters. Come on.
Yeah,
The lensmen.
By the way, the art. Oh, look, he's taking a knee. What did David Hill mean by this?
Well, I mean, he's writing something.
I'm just making fun. I'm just making fun because he kind of reminds me of like an inbred version of Colin Kaepernick.
You're right.
What did they
But
mean?
then we go on to the next. The feed.
You feed me slop from the social
They did
media.
so. The Collegium of Information Technology discovered that the internet is radically unlike other traditional media. Television and print are one-way communication systems. However, internet it feeds back on itself instantly, causing mercurial self-metamorphosis overnight.
So basically, this is them trying to pretend they're smart by explaining what memes are to people. Ironically, this book is more about bragging about how smart they are because they are insecure about their lack of talent. They have delusions of adequacy. Because this is not delusions of grandeur. This is delusions of competence.
Yeah. Namely, so the first test to understand the movers and shakers of the New World. Namely, the
Well, no,
extraordinary
before we go in,
citizens that.
again, more college brain dipshittery. The Collegium of Information Technology. Go fuck yourself with that MIT reference, you worthless sacks of shit.
So,
You know things are
well,
cooked when Fallout
yeah.
4 used MIT more competently than you.
Namely, the extraordinary citizens that
No,
social media
for those wondering,
Yeah,
the MIT was the core of what becomes the institute.
yeah. They were so adroit fostering. So, the people who were the new extraordinary citizens, the mages of, or the enlightened mages of the internet, CEOs of bleeding edge startups, bloggers and vloggers with millions of devout fans, technical innovators operating out of their parents' basements, and all the zeros turned heroes produced by digital culture.
The problem is a lot of those would be virtual adepts, I think,
Just
Virtual
like
adept,
David Hill.
or syndicate.
virtual adepts,
Virtual
false,
adepts, syndicate,
dead, degenerate, or
verbena, perhaps.
yeah.
Like this is so stupid, especially since this is supposed to be the New World Order, right? So
Yes.
what they're doing by saying this is what did David Hill is accidentally revealing that a lot of the push for these mega companies are he's literally highlighting how easy it is to do botnets. To do botnets, fake like campaigns, rig things so that things are rated higher than they really are. He's basically highlighting just how absolutely fake anything on the internet is. Without even being aware that this is going to be a thing, like a decade later. Look at this
I mean,
goofbag
look at the
with a
example.
fucking phone.
Like, he's not even selling. I think that's a fucking Palm Pilot. Remember the Palm Pilot?
I could see Aetherites also making it. I would also argue verbena because remember, there's a lot of hibity that you can get. Like, you ever heard of? Okay, so have you guys ever heard of black salve?
No.
Oh.
Oh, you haven't. Okay, so there is a very common fake cancer cure called black salve, and the way it works is it's a type of escharotic. What's an escharotic, you might ask? Oh, that's a necrotizing. That's a thing that necrotizes your skin and forms an eschar, basically a type of scab that rots away and pulls away skin. This actually used to be used to try to cure skin cancer because hey, it rots the skin cancer off your body, right? The problem is, remember, you have to get rid of as many of those cells as possible and make it so that the white blood cells recognize them.
Yeah, I'm currently reading. We spotted this out in 1955,
Yeah.
but it's still around. Yeah. Oh God, that's someone's nose.
Is black salva like spirit science? No, black
No,
salve
no.
is it's a type of
it-
it's a thing that basically makes your
I'm
skin
going.
rot.
I'm going to give you the quote from this Time article. A 37-year-old housewife had a skin condition that later proved not to be a cancer. Convinced that it was, she had gone to a backwoods healer who applied a salve. Soon, a quarter-sized hole disfigured her nose, opening up the nasal cavity. The plastic surgeons at Duke University had to build her a new nose.
And that's not the only thing. Reminder that there is also the usage of essential oils. I'm just gonna say, verbena definitely are gonna make buku bucks in the modern era in this setting.
Because here's the thing, with the verbena, it actually would work.
And don't forget that this is the new age of faith healing scams. So you have the voices of the choir going full scum maxing, particularly especially those who love affinity schemes. There's a
Let's
lot
see,
of scamsters in the Muslim
they
world
give
who
us the
abuse their
idea of
faith, for example.
some of these trend analysts being deep divers. They're the ones with the virtual ear to the digital street.
Okay, so what happened here is David Hill was probably really fucking salty that they didn't get their hands on. Actually, let me check. They might have gotten their hands on. Let me check. Did they get their
The
hands
pro-
on the virtual adepts?
no, the prize of their hunt is new and untainted data on emerging trends within social networking.
No, I want to double
Twitter.
check. I'm gonna go to the traditions because I am very concerned. Did this
I don't
piece
think
of
they
shit?
made a.
Yes, they did. I have it. Let me see. Did David Hill get his greasy fucking mitts on this one? No. No. Okay, so here's what happened. Here is what happened. It's pretty clear that David Hill was very angry that he didn't get his greasy fucking mitts on the virtual adepts. So this is why there's an entire section on this. On the one hand, yes, it would make sense to have a new branch of the New World Order. I don't know if it would be called a collegium, though. I would have probably called it a department. I would have treated it more like a government. Or
Yeah.
alternatively, since it's based on the English, you know what you could have done instead? Instead of calling it the United States Department, you could base it on the British chancelleries. chancelleries, or like Chancellery of Executor. Like, use the Britishism terms for Parliament. Play up the government angle. What is this shit?
But they decided to investigate Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, YouTube, even dusty back alleys like MySpace for their new stomping grounds. They watched for the development of new ideas and paradigms among the masses who use these tools to communicate. And I assume one of them, since this was written in 2012, would become part of one of their agents would become part of an online forum designed to discuss the eccentricities of the internet. Maybe one under the name Null.
Oh, I was gonna make fun. I was gonna make fun of the fact that think about it like this. These are the guys that these are the corporations that try to pretend to be human. You know how memes eventually get ruined because the target of it, or like someone lame takes over for it? Like, you try to see companies mimic it, like people who have no clue, the late adopters. This is what these guys are. The trend analyst is the person who told Jared Leto it's morbing time.
The handlers focus on the extraordinary citizens that the internet creates. These brilliant minds are the champions and evangelists of new ideas, creating and controlling the organizations that make cutting edge online services and sites. They demonstrate a deep, intuitive understanding of the very conglomeration of systems that the feed is trying to control.
You know what I would have said instead of the
Tell me
handlers?
why I'm still a virgin with rage.
Yeah, here's the thing. I would have the handlers be the people that whisper, the people that basically whisper the schizos to do the horrible
They're
things.
the idea guy.
Yeah,
They're Chris Chan's idea guy.
yeah, basically that. Well, no, it's totally okay. You got to be a Tom girl. You got to be Tom girl.
I actually do like the
They
NWO.
use
Here's
no
how.
no
Here's
no
how.
no.
Listen.
I just
Chris
realized.
Chan quit. I mean, Chris Chan has to be a marauder, but they were able to neuter the influence by telling Chris you're actually from an alternate reality.
Also, Lieutenant Sec is referencing Hollywood copying the screaming goat meme when it was dead for over a decade. Correct. Another example that I
What's
was
the version?
thinking. Hmm?
What's the version of humanity in Mage?
Uh,
Humanity.
Arette?
Well, because
Not Arette.
I would imagine the
Oh.
Integrity.
ideas got.
Oh,
I
you
would
mean.
imagine the ideas. Go ahead.
Oh, you meant humanity is in the stat.
I think it's just called
Yeah.
Humanity still, or Integrity.
I was gonna
Something like
imagine
that.
then the ideas guys are like dudes with like Humanity 3, so they could just fuck with this one autistic guy for the fucks of it.
I was thinking actually something even funnier. Okay, hear me out. Remember, they are capable of doing vulgar magic. They're the alternate headmates of Ralph. They're the ones that whisper into his head. They're also the ones that whisper into Darkseid Phil's head about needing to beg.
No, no. They created a agent for one of the rising stars of the internet, codename Anissa.
Mages don't have a humanity stat, and
It
that's a feature, not a bug. Yeah, I'm not
it's
surprised then,
if
Gutterman. It's been a while. I have not touched a mage sheet in like 9 years. I never really got a chance to touch mage. Always wanted to, but I've never had a chance to actually play a game.
but now that we've discussed the organizations, we can now go into the main characters.
What's with all these fetal alcohol syndrome looking I mean, I guess since they're founded by the United Kingdom, it makes sense for a lot of them to have fetal alcohol syndrome.
I mean, to be fair, this is just the World of Darkness style, isn't it?
No,
Yeah,
this is actually a lot
yeah.
uglier than some of the other art.
We have Henry de Loris, a member of the Cult of Ecstasy from the year 1732, joined with operative Rudolph Carter to defeat a Nephondic cell back World War II. Fell in love, kind of. Then he became part of the Technocracy. Carter dies during the dimensional anomaly. Loris goes back onto the Cult of Ecstasy drugs, but then comes back as a sort of a leader of the NWO.
So here's the thing: death for a mage, eh, eh. Technically, you always come back because of your avatar. You just reincarnate. The other way you can do it is you essentially cheat death, either by finding ways to steal life from other people, or just abusing time. Abusing time, horizon planes, other mechanics to essentially just live longer. Don't get me wrong, the more you do it, the more paradox builds up, and I wouldn't like you could easily argue that the reason all those horizon realms got fucked by the Avatar storm was so many mages were cheating death that they just got fucked from it. I mean, I have a decent collection of mage books, if you're wondering. Like, not as much as Zen Gunman, but I do have quite a few of them on hand as
As I
PDFs
said,
because I
it's a
did want to
literal,
play mage.
as I say, it's a literal repository of mage lore.
Yeah. The next one is Paige Telford. Dr. Telford graduated from high school in the 90s and entered university in the midst of I don't give a rotten fuck about your unresolved college issues, Dave. I don't
She's
care that you have a 2.2
no, no,
GPA, motherfucker.
she's a psychologist.
Double majored biology and psychology. Oh no. It's not like
She's
that's
a
uncommon.
psychiatrist.
So here's an interesting thing: psychiatric medicine,
This is
and
what
psychology, they actually get into a lot of conflicts with each other.
this is what L. Ron Hubbard warned us about.
I'm not even kidding. Psychiatrists and psychologists actually get along like oil and water. They fucking hate each other.
Yep. Then we have John Smoke. He was an independent journalist during the
Fuck
Iraq War.
off.
He has vividly supported the citizen journalism movement and the normalization of news, acquiring news via social media. Oh boy, does that fucking backfire on him.
Oh god, I actually kind of, you know what's funny? The original NWO here, despite evil maxing, I actually find more likable than what we're reading right now.
It's quite amazing how we just kind of stumbled into a shit show.
Jimmy's asking us, hey, what's worse, this book or V20 with the bloat cutaway? This
Yes.
book. This book. I like Vampire 20th. If you mean Mage 20th, I'd have to actually read it. I tried once. This was actually a factor in why I never was able to play Mage. And then I stopped reading it.
So,
I mean, maybe
I do
this
like
book because it's shorter.
here the just moving on then from some of these legends they have.
Well, you don't want to. Oh, the scroll of Thothmes. The scroll
That
of
font's not good to read.
Thothmes. No, the scroll of Thought Times. Thought Times. There we go.
I face palmed.
So I'm just envisioning. So that is it. That is Queen Elizabeth. That's Queen Elizabeth. Queen Vicky. God, my brain is fried. This book sucks. This is Vicky. So I'm just envisioning they have this ancient papyrus scroll from the New Kingdom of Egypt, right? And it's just the hieroglyphics of, I don't know, Queen Hatshepsut twerking. I'm just envisioning you know the Amarna art style that Akhenaten was famous for. I'm imagining that, but like with his wife in an OnlyFans pose.
Yeah. Wait. The symbols of the sun, the rose, and the cross repeatedly used throughout history by secret societies are quite familiar to any technocrat who has watched any late-night reruns of crackpot conspiracy television shows.
Like you've watched any of them, Dave? Fuck off. Have you even listened to one Art Bell bit? Have you ever listened to any of Art Bell's callers?
Yeah, that's the cheese, right?
Then we have the NWO black suit John Courage, someone by the name of Saint Damien.
He's a James Bond parody.
Yeah. Saint Damien was the first and last technocrat to ever elicit a bloodshed-free agreement from all 5 Technocratic Union conventions.
I mean, that's just the Threatenol Syndicate member, if you think about it. They're basically the ultimate happy merchants.
No, these are just the precepts of the...
Room 101. Supervisors never use the term. Amalgam leaders will now and again. Room 101 would be part of processing.
Yeah. Hey, are you afraid of rats?
Well, you say that, but here's the thing I have with 101 as a concept. Do you know why they're calling it 101?
1984.
No, actually. It's a very common college class level for beginning instruction.
Now it's.
101,
I think,
it's the very basics of a class.
but this doesn't have anything to do with the class. This has some.
I mean, you're
I think
probably
they.
right in they're basing it on 1984, but a lot of instructional, like a lot of early class lecture halls, like early class modules are called 101.
Yes, but no. I think even here they have Room 101 brought up in the.
Yeah, and I bet it came from the original book. I'm not giving this book anything,
If it's
not after
associated,
what
yeah, if
we
it's supposed
read.
to be 1984, it would make sense.
I'm not giving this book anything that I don't attribute anything this book does as anything that they like. If anything they did that's kind of clever, it's probably from somewhere else.
Well, let's see. The fronts. Private security firms,
This
which
is
they use
such
to
dog
eliminate
shit.
reality deviants. Tech startups.
This actually reads more like a
Wait. No,
okay.
here's David Hill's writing. Startups in particular embody a union mindset. The 50 plus hours of a week expected from development staff promoting a corporate culture where life and company are heavily intertwined, and the desire to show others within and outside the company a high degree of technical prowess and accepting of cutting edge technology.
This is the syndicate's job, you fucking mong. Oh god, I'm
Did he
about
write the
to.
Syndicate book?
Let's find
Now,
out. Let's find
now,
out.
now to play now to play devil's advocate, with how much there is in the world of darkness,
No.
only some wires have to be crossed eventually,
Instead,
right?
instead. Oh no, wait, he was the editor. Fuck.
Oh, he edited the syndicate.
However, Adam Cobal's here.
Oh, the guy who
What the fuck?
forcibly put himself on a woman in his live
for
game.
being for being a sexy poster boy for the almighty syndicate. Now you gotta wonder, was he an iteration exorcised?
I don't know. I'm infuriated, man. I fucking hate this. Isn't 101 about the first year, first course of a subject in Universal? Yeah, that's what I mean, NDR. It
Yes, but it
probably
has
comes
nothing
from
to do with the
1984 as
university.
well.
It has nothing.
Um, for a correction to Adam Kobold, I don't believe it was actual rape. It was
He made a
tabletop rape.
robot come.
Unless
Yeah, he made a character's robot come.
Sorry, I just like
this
saying.
cascade of failure right now. How did this cascade of failure happen? Damn it!
So now,
no. Here's my
media
question. How did
hold
they
on.
write Mage 5th edition before Mage 5th edition came out?
Oh my god! Yeah, this is Mage 5th edition.
This feels like Mage 5th edition. Like this feels like a 5th edition book. This is dog shit.
So
It's formatted
then
better than a 5th edition book. We have to give them this. It's better formatted than any of the 5th edition books, but this is horse shit.
Then we have, though, the media outlets. And oh boy, Continental News Corporation. Based in Christchurch, New Zealand, with the American headquarters in Dallas, Texas, it is one of the upstarts in cable news, one with a heavy conservative religious leaning. Many of the messages the network promotes are useful from an NWO stance, but the number of pundits who spout
Are you fucking kidding me?
anti-technocratic rhetoric worry us. Not only are progresses in life sciences attacked, they've also legitimized certain conspiracy theories among these census. Some are close to our plans, leading us to believe there are extraordinary citizens within the ranks of these pundits or their staff.
Reminder that the reason Fox News even exists is because the other news corporations were held in lockstep with the Democratic Party.
As with other
They-
recent news networks,
I'll be fucking
hold on,
blunt.
wait.
I'll be fucking
Attempt.
blunt. I just want to say this. Let me be blunt. The NWO wouldn't give a shit about the politics. They would control both. Fox, no,
Yeah.
Fox, CNN, doesn't matter. They own it all.
As with other recent news networks, attempts to infiltrate CNC's leadership have failed. Whether that's due to unconscious use of mind or prime procedures, rooting out external influences or moles within the watchers is unclear. We've had more success in getting access to the network's lower echelons through sympathizers.
By the way, someone screenshot Jimmy's comment. He is predicting that Mage 5 will be worse than this.
Are they implying that Tucker Carlson's a mind vampire?
I mean, at this point, Tucker Carlson might be a Mayan vampire that was unleashed by the Pillarmen. I don't fucking know.
Oh my!
I
said mind vampire, but mind.
I mean, I will just say, I ended up watching I ended
I
up
mean,
seeing a
he
clip of
looked
his from like
confused.
years
He looked
ago.
confused
Kind
at
of
the gay Mexican kid
Yeah.
and said, "I thought you were Fed." And the gay Mexican kid Fed who sent the chattel into the fucking Capitol building said to the son of the Fed, Glowy, "I thought you were a Fed." And both Fed assets looked at each other, going, "I thought you were a Fed. I thought you were a Fed." It was like watching two parrots with dementia fucking talk to each other. God, my brain hurts.
Then we have the cells that they would use to, I guess, hunt people. And then colleges. Thomas L. Prescott University is a respected liberal arts college in Greenfield, Massachusetts.
Not respected
60% of the
anymore.
facility are extraordinary, with 4 individual enlightened facility members sitting as the dean and departmental heads.
So what you're saying is this is the Society of Magical Negroes. Got it. I'm sorry. This book is actually hurting me as we're going along. This sucks.
Well, before
I feel like the bluesmobile. I feel like the bluesmobile. Like I'm falling apart, man. Don't worry, we'll get to the venue. I'll take you boys there, but I'm gonna fall apart and die right as we get there. You
I
guys
do
are on a
like
mission to
here
God, and I'm
the
here to take you.
example they have here of their Ministry of Information. So we have this troop control Aisha Jones. She is a 62-year-old press secretary in D.C.
She was the first woman. The first woman. The first. She was the first.
During the years in the White House press corps, Jones saw mages fighting against progress and civilization. If reality demons had their way, freedom would be restricted to those with the most magic, and rights would come only with a powerful avatar. The very idea
When was
disgusts
Legend
her.
of Korra? When
Because
was Legend of
remember,
Korra written?
she's black, which means she had to be involved in civil rights work.
So here's my other question besides that. When was The Legend of Korra written?
Around this time,
No,
it
I
was
need to know. When was Legend of Korra written? Was it 2000, was it around 2011, 2012? I need to know.
um ran from April of 2012 to December of 2014.
Okay, let me look at when this piece of shit was published. So it's the same year. They don't clarify exactly, but here's my thinking. So, the reason why
Develop production was made in 2010.
so remember, an early villain from that piece of dog shit show has the same motivation as this piece of shit. Exact same motivation. There is a
Well,
dude, the
without trying to strip
anti-Bender
away
army.
people's
Yeah.
powers.
No, he did. He wanted to because he thought Benders as a whole were an aberration, and he wanted to genocide them.
And he'd
By the
be
way, he
right.
was a Bender, so it was also a hypocrite.
You mean the robot from Futurama?
I wish. That was a better version.
So the tradition spoke from a position of privilege that ignored the people on the streets. Look at a fucking mirror. What organization are you with?
By the way, the thing Ministry of Information, these are all the other,
Yeah.
this is trash. I'm
So
recommending the other
yeah,
books.
no, so she fought. She fought with paper. She fought with lobbies. She fought with targeted strikes and demonstrations.
So you never actually experienced the problems you claim that you did. Okay.
You're confident, but you're also sympathetic and wise.
No, you're not.
Then we have Minister Lin Vo. She
Also,
run
no,
she
also
works
a
full time,
diverse.
supervises an amalgam, and runs the convention co-ed softball team. Acts as a peer advisor and heads the holiday party decoration crew. She also has another job as a freelance journalist, and another as a college student. She's going for her doctoral degree in human resources management.
Okay, who let the progenitor write mimetic cancer in 2 words again? Now we have to get everyone clean from. Oh, great. This is a form of hepatitic cancer. Lovely. You know how fucking much of a bitch it is to get that out of your pattern? I'm not even kidding.
No.
That was one of the worst things that I have ever heard you read. And we've read Hardwired Island. David Hill should have their fingers broken.
This felt like it come out of a 2017 Marvel comic.
This feels like something you'd read in a pitch meeting that got rejected for being too bad. Like, no, sorry. Even the modern audience won't want this.
Well,
Christ on a cross.
then we do get something at least interesting. To replace the idea of correspondence with data procedures.
Congratulations. It took you this long. By the way, if you're wondering, I think Revised is the one that decided to make the spheres have different names in the conventions.
Kind of makes sense.
Ugh.
Well, I mean, especially for like spirit.
It makes sense, but so we have read over 3/4 of this book, and this is
And we
like the
now
first
get-
thing that's worth a shit.
So,
Well,
data.
technically,
yeah.
the history, if it wasn't written the way it was, would have been useful.
Yeah. So data is instead of correspondence, which is abstract, data is concrete. Massive code, the language of the universe.
Basically, what happened was this person was too stupid to know how to use correspondence, so they made this instead. Hey, look, we know the average IQ of humanity is dropping by the fucking truckload. Look, we don't expect you to do math. We get it. You have too much estrogen. You're too gay or you're too black to be able to figure out spheres. So, we get it. We
Oh my
understand.
God.
You are an inferior human being to us, but we will speak for you as the glorious white civilizer and make it so that you can access this. We are being the luminous technocracy and teaching your unenlightened ass how to fucking run correspondence because
The white
I don't
RPG
understand
sound
it.
whisper.
But here's the thing. I think I understand it better than you, the audience who has read this before me. Because I am
Adam, are you
bold in
telling me
my
I can?
ignorance.
Adam, are you telling me that I can blame the technocracy for white genocide?
Unironically, I could totally see Planned Parenthood and the white genocide both being a technocracy gimmick.
So, the thing is, they make a difference between correspondence and data. Properly copied data can't be destroyed. Traditional correspondence sympathy can be devastated through other magic or encryption techniques. Data and physical the difference between data and physical correspondence is data has no functional boundaries. Ranges do not apply so long as the practitioner has a method of data delivery.
Basically, they
Wi-Fi,
needed to come up
cable.
with something, and this was the best idea they could have come up with. In fairness, data replacing correspondence, it's fine because they highlight that dimensional whatever the fuck that the void engineers have.
Dimensional science.
Yeah, like fair, whatever. Spirit equals that, whatever.
And different, abilities you can use with the number of
By the way,
dots you
if
have.
you really wanted to do this, you know what I would have said the mind sphere was instead? Parapsychology.
What I do like though.
Parapsychological protocol.
What I do like though is the inspired sciences. There's
You could
spheres,
also call it
relationship with data.
paracognitive behavior.
Yeah. So if you combine data and dimensional science, it's a bit rare, but it's like sort of understanding the data of different dimensions.
It's okay, so really short. This is like combining correspondence and spirit because that's what they're doing. Basically, you
Yes.
know where the ghosts are, and you can just, if you really fucking hate that one wraith who fucked you over like 2 years ago, if you get strong enough in correspondence and spirits, you can beckon their ass to get their bodies absolutely fucking shreked by sending them into oblivion.
Yeah. Now, data and entropy destroy data. Data decay.
No, entropy is also statistical. If you can use data and entropy to actually predict things, you could actually, unironically, if you wanted to game the stock market, you would combine data and entropy.
Probably as well.
No, it's not
data,
probably. Lower level entropy literally is fate. It is the concept of statistics.
With all these fucking, concepts you're talking about, they're making race sound like they're more like Digimon rather than ghosts.
I mean, they are ghosts.
Yeah. Data and forces.
By the way, you know the Y2K scare? A combination of data and entropy paradox.
Well, it could make that a reality, yeah. The data and forces makes you a walking Wi-Fi hub, a shortwave receiver, and at the pinnacle, a quantum projector. and also to neutralize
I
the
like how
signal.
this is more fucking limited than correspondence. Congratulations, David Hill.
Every
You
device
proved your
becomes a node of.
delusions of competence once again.
Let's see. Data and life, nanomachines, sun.
Living the nano life. Living the nano life. That sounds like something you'd see on a corporate. Like, can you see that as like an AI generated corporate slogan? Like, you see this fucking poorly generated fucking guy on a white background. Live the nano life, and it's by a company that's gonna go bankrupt in, I don't know, 10 months because they
Yeah.
burned all their money on some shitty Kickstarter.
Let's see. Data and matter, 3D printing.
I kind of really I really hate
Data and mind, memetic.
I I really fucking
Memes,
hate
the
this.
DNA of the soul.
I like how this is worse than correspondence in every way possible.
Data and prime, codifying information.
I think we should
Highly
spare these
experimental, prone
humans
to
the red
disaster.
talons after they discovered the Technocracy's depopulation plan. Yeah, you're not
Data.
wrong,
Yeah.
Osel.
Let's see. Data and time, manipulation of time and control of that knowledge. Oh
So,
no, data and time is probabilities.
well, no, entropy is. Time is. You have to combine correspondence, time, and entropy if you want to predict it on the exact. Entropy determines likelihood, time determines when.
Yeah. But then we get to at least some of the fun stuff. The gear. The enlightened smartphone.
Nicholas has a much better idea. You don't want to use data and life to email your enemies an angry gorilla. I mean, that's one of the best. That's one of the best uses of vulgar magic I've ever heard. I, I can unironically see an NWO branch whose specialty is troubleshooting, where they just send nasty spam emails to targets that deserve to die using
The paradox.
correspondence.
What happens is in the paradox, the gorilla comes back. It drags you into the internet, and you get crushed
I
by
mean,
the
that is
gorilla.
one way it can happen. The other alternative is that's your paradox dimension, because some mages, if they're really unlucky, don't die. They're trapped in paradox realms where you're just infinitely punched in the dick by the same gorilla you've summoned 100 times. Oh god. Dealing with Q division. By the way, they've also introduced Q division, probably because David thought that they were clever by adding Q, because it was like James Bond or whatever. Blah blah
Yeah.
blah. The enlightened smartphone. Enlightenment
It's
1,
more than a
prime energy.
gadget, an operating system, a communications device, and a fashion statement. It's a focus.
Yeah. The hollow computer. This advanced computer is no larger than a credit card. It easily concealed into the agent spot. This sucks.
It's a so wait. It's a phone. It's a fucking phone.
It sucks. It doesn't even do anything interesting with it. By the way,
This, you know,
That's the potable manar. The magical radar.
gun for the job.
That's what I actually like. So
I
what
like
they
the mirror
do
shades.
is they'll take out a machine pistol, and it will, no matter even if they're shooting at a crowd, all the bullets will just go after the target.
That's not bad, but I like the mirror shades more. At least that's
Oh
kind
yeah.
of interesting.
Remove successes for any mind effect or other mind influence or mind reading power on the character.
I have to agree, Nicholas. I'd much rather read some of the fan splats. Like Genius to Transgression was at least a little better than this. And for all I've shat on Princess the Hopeful, the Crystal version's actually a lot better. That one's actually at least a notable improvement over this. For fuck's sake, it's making me feel confident about some my own little silly vampire book I'm writing.
Let's see. Truth serum. You inject this into a person to plant a single statement the subject will accept as truth.
Why
It
did
only
the...
works on the unenlightened. I would like to do this just for shits and giggles. Just to.
Okay, so you basically mind whammy them. This is like a shittier version of Dominate, though. These are all like, this is literally like 5th edition, where where they run out of ideas and they just slap together some shit near the end.
Actually, I would call. I think I call this the gaslighting serum, because you could just do some horrible things with this. You just need to make a sentence, and the subject will believe the statement.
I love the idea that you just gaslight them into thinking they're a different person, and then just watching them crash out as they lose their mind.
Actually, no, I reverse Clayton Bigsby. Just go around injecting white supremacists with it, and just like, you are a black man.
Also, here's a shitty one: chirp mode, Enlightenment 4, 20 prime energy. It takes a lot of effort. It's the revolutionary social network and arguably the strongest tool in the feed's arsenal. While the social network is primarily a syndicate technology, the feed has learned. That's hilarious, because there's no. Here's the thing: every social media platform on the planet loses money. Like, they literally burn money. X/Twitter burned money. YouTube's still a loss leader.
So, I mean, this is pretty. You get to be Elon Musk.
Facebook is like the only exception, and even then, it's losing money now.
Yeah, you get to be.
You can literally have it too. You can play that too. The fact for why all these social media companies they're losing money, still going. And you can have that say too. It's a mage ploy for whatever fucking reason.
You could argue
Money's
maybe
no
it's the
object.
virtual
Wait.
adepts trying to make the syndicate burn their money.
Wait, the nondescript van.
So the agent chooses the criteria to replace, and the message which they choose to replace. It allows you to basically delete fucking everything. And
beyond. Wait, for the chirp node.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. The agent
Yeah, as I
chooses
said,
the
you
criteria to
get
replace.
you get to basically be Elon Musk for a bit and remove everything in the social media that you don't like. You don't like
Now,
people
better
calling
yet,
out that you have a broken dick? Remove it.
So stupid.
Better yet, you become the internet lumberjack.
You want your AI to convince everyone that you're the best at everything, including drinking piss? You can do that.
And the
But
metaverse was a technocrat project that, yeah, I could believe it.
Yeah. The nondescript van.
Yep.
So not only is it, nondescript, its interior is co-located to a locked dimension, accessible only to those authorized by the agent.
By the way, half of these are literally in other books, so this sucks.
Well, improvements makes sense that they would evolve.
Spectre Mark III, which is a James Bond car, whatever.
Hold out chain gun. This is for the vehicle, but hidden in a panel under the hood, the massive device can rise devastating 90-degree arc in front of the car.
If you're wondering, you can definitely play the Men in Black as James Bond. That's kind of something that's been a bit of a wink and a nudge for some builds.
Chatter bomb. And yes, Orwell says, who controls the past controls the future, who controls the present controls the past.
George Orwell would basically shit on every fucking person that quotes him nowadays, because he'd look at the United Kingdom and say, so you have chosen to love Big Brother.
Well, this is just using context. It generates chatter chirps to influence the local populace. Changes the popular topics to offer skeptical responses and pop science explanations.
Essentially, what they do is, so remember how Twitter used to rig the algorithm so its trending would always be the stuff that the company wanted?
Yeah.
It's that. It's just that.
But also, here's the other thing. It's only for the local area. So that's not really affecting Twitter. It's affecting your local Facebook group. Congratulations, you have influenced boomers.
The dirty bomb, allegedly the dirty bomb doesn't exist, but it actually does. By the way, I don't know why this requires magic. Especially since, since
it's a dirty. It literally it's an anti-meme. Well, now that it's an anti-meme bomb, anything killed by the backlash simply ceases to be. Its pattern disintegrates completely. How do you know it works?
Yeah, how do you know?
And then the quantum datacaster teleports data instantly by manipulating the quantum entanglement of qubits.
Qubits, if you're wondering, is a specific term for quantum bits. Quantum computing uses this as the form of measurement for computer speed. Well, no, that's flops, but basically it's the, you know how we use bits and bytes for data storage relays? It's that for quantum bit. Because you know how originally in most computing it's either on or off, zeros and ones?
Yeah.
The thing with quantum bits are it has a gradient, which is why it has much more potential for high computing power. So it's not, it's more of a gradient system.
And let's see here. Then we have the procedures. Being able to surveil someone from inside.
So if you're wondering what procedures are for those who don't know, basically these are rotes. What are rotes? Basically, so not everyone's very creative with sphere usage, and that's okay. Mage is a very difficult game to understand. It's probably the hardest of the games to get into. These are ways to make you learn how the spheres work and how they play around together. They're magics that are easier to do with more simple rules, and it allows you to just do it more reliably.
Yeah.
It's when you go, wait, how do I modify this, that you start learning the system. So these are just a bunch of shitty fucking rotes.
Like 15 minutes. The 15 minutes of fame. Agent chooses a target, bombs her with a rapid-fire fame dump. This turns them into a celebrity for whatever nonsense reason. Usually a doctor video where she's singing atrociously.
And it just destroys them.
Oh no, you can then do this to go viral. Same principle, reapplies it from person to a fact and magnifies it. They turn to a viral meme. Within an hour of execution, the internet is awash with bits and bytes, opinions, rant videos, and inevitably a few loaded references trying to compare somebody to Hitler.
The problem is forcing a meme never fucking works, usually.
This should be vulgar.
This should fit. These both should be vulgar, and you should both eat paradox. Like, to force it through, you have to eat paradox. Reminder, half the reason the people that you know about that are relevant is usually because they started from fucking money, and they just bribed their way using botnets and shit. Because they're pretty cheap. You can get a few thousand views for what, a couple buccarinos? Like $20, depending on the platform. It's not hard to get the metrics.
So then we have processing, which is the procedure. Today, the NWO finds it more efficient to disconnect his target senses from his nervous system before employing many, many sessions of interrogation and personality correction.
Basically, the
Have they
forcing them to love Big Brother.
have they realized that torture doesn't actually work?
No. By the way, I actually like this picture of this. Looks like a shit post from the Will Stancil show. Doesn't this look like a Will Stancil show still?
Oh no, it's Grok and Will Stancil's alter ego in the background.
It do
It do be like that.
It do be like that, Mr. Technocracy.
No, don't do me like that, Mr. Technocracy.
But then we get our characters that we can use. The 24-hour news pundit. Senator, I need you to confirm that you are not a space alien come to subvert our religious values and convert our family units into millions of fascist drones. I'm not saying you're a space alien. I'm not even saying I believe space aliens exist. But what I'm saying is, there's a high-ranking staffer in Congress that's told me you're a space alien, and the people deserve to know.
My source, I made it the fuck up.
What I find most shocking is that you refuse to deny these allegations time and time again. What do you have to hide, Senator?
By the way, Ossel has a funny idea. Sir, we've run out of nondescript vans. We have to take one of the old ice cream trucks. So yeah, basically, it's basic shit about complaining about the news cycle. 24-hour news cycles are the death of news as a concept. The truth be told, you kind of a nice guy.
Wait, hold on. Looking at his skills, why does he have 2 dots in firearms, and why is that called photo ops?
Well, a camera is a tool, and you take shots with it.
I would have put that into talents.
I would have probably have put that
or research.
into...
Actually, no, research.
I would have put it into subterfuge, because subterfuge is the ability to move around and lie.
Ah,
Yeah, that's kind of dumb.
and the intelligence field operative.
By the way, you like the part where the dude's basically highlighted as you're a decent person, but on the camera you're a complete liar.
What
Th-
did they mean by this?
This is
Is
the
Bill
face.
O'Reilly actually a good person all along?
Well, he pretends to be dumber than he actually is, given he has allegedly, I think, a master's degree.
In black psychology or black history.
No, that's Will Stancil. Bill O'Reilly, I forgot what his was.
We're still talking. We're still
By the way,
talking about
look at this
Bill
neck.
Stancil.
Look at this neck.
Oh, what's wrong with your neck?
She's part Kaminoan. She also clearly had some form of breast enlargement surgery that went horribly wrong.
Oh god. And
What?
she must have gone through that. She must have gone through that leg lengthening procedure where they break your bones.
Okay, what type of spheres does this bitch have? Okay, she has life 1. That makes no. Actually, no. Life 1 wouldn't help you here.
Life
How
2.
are you alive?
Then you life 3.
You need at least life 3 or 4. How are you alive?
Hmm.
You wanted to be a baseball player. That was until you wanted to be an astronaut. Then you wanted to be a stock market tycoon. College came around and you decided to go for criminal justice. After all, there's blah, 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 blah. During a hands-on exercise in the field, you watched a guest speaker investigate a murder. To his surprise, the victim woke up, shocked, the detective torn to shred. Okay.
I do like the next processed traditionalist. You were such a goddamned hippie. Your parents disowned you after your third marijuana conviction. By then, you were already so deeply entrenched in the cult of ecstasy that you didn't care about the lame old mods. You could do magic. Your life was great. It wasn't until the technocracy kicked in your chantry door and took everything away. I don't
Yeah.
remember much of that time. You remember they restrained the very fabric of reality. You remember that you were wasting your brain away with chemicals. Now you're a soldier. You're the front line. You're the muscle. You're the vehicle for the deaths of those who aren't lucky enough to be indoctrinated like you were.
Okay. I mean, this is basically Wilson screaming he loves Big Brother. Whatever.
Hmm. Genre actor.
That dude's about to lose his penis in a horrible accident. He's also lost the tips of his fingers from other horrible accidents.
You still haven't
Sexual
gotten
accidents?
wait. You still haven't gotten the mage who made 3D films popular. But when you do, he'll rue the day.
Haha.
Oh, I like law. IP law.
I haven't been on this, I haven't, I'm basically in this film for 2 seconds, therefore I demand my rights for it.
He's Nicolas Cage.
Meet Up Maven, science fiction writer. I don't like any of these ones, by the way.
And
These all kind of suck.
I
I'm
think
gonna
that's
be
a
honest. Did you
fitting
expect anything
phrase.
different?
It kind of sucks. We were expecting this to be a book about updating the New World Order into the themes of the modern day with the increase of technology and social media.
And they
And
kind of did
instead,
a little bit
we
of
got
that.
instead we got diatribes about about women and feminism.
So what happened was we were expecting updating the Technocracy to account for modern technology. The problem was we got Mage updated for the modern audience.
That and kind of sort of neutering the NWO.
Well,
Like
I don't hate the
they
idea of
they
giving
well no
nuance to them.
yeah they bring up again the fact that the paper that we were reading at the beginning, talking about the history of the New World Order, had mimetic hazards embedded into it. If anyone knows anything about the SCP, that's one of the big things. Mimetic kill agents. That's what there should be. You're tiptoeing around sort of everywhere, trying to bring yourself up and trying to learn more. But every single bit of information, it could just fucking kill you.
Another thing you could have done, and you mentioned the SCP. Reminder, SCP Foundation documents were written as early as 2009 based on old X posts. So they could have actually thrown in a few interesting, weird little mimetic fuckers, which, could lead to some really psychedelic art.
I think it's really cute that you're expecting David Hill, the great David Hill, to write anything of value.
That is, yeah, in fairness, In fairness, we didn't know this was a David Hill book. That's the big problem. This is a David Hill book, and
You have
nothing Dave has
you have
ever
this
written is good.
problem.
Like
You have this
I
problem of trying to fix something where like wolf writers are basically half. It is so lame. You know, it was written on that website.
You're cutting
you know,
in and out.
full
What?
of hello, testy, 1 2 3.
The NWO doesn't want to hear your opinions. Apparently, try again.
I was gonna say though. I mean, you have to understand too. That was early enough into the history where that was niche, and it was made by those 4chan people. I don't like them. They say homophobic stuff on the internet.
that is correct. But now that we're in 2025, definitely I think the SCP stuff would be a better fit for the new WO, and especially on that issue of fighting for consensus and reality. Imagine, if you would, you're playing a Mage game and you're playing a New World Order game. You're playing for a bit. You come into the headquarters and they arrest you because there's no information of you anywhere in the Technocracy. And the whole thing is you're fighting an anti-meme.
That could be interesting and all, but the problem is the SCP Foundation has been cooked for years, and the most iconic stuff is stuff they didn't even make.
The ideas, though, can still be used. If we're going on about the New World Order, and their whole thing is about ideas.
Yeah, why didn't they focus on memetic warfare, especially in the internet?
Like,
They focused more on turning it into like some fucking shitty version of the Skull and like it was more like a crappy frat society in college the way they wrote this.
it's like Animal House written by people who have never experienced life.
Well, I mean that's Dave Hill in a nutshell. I think college forever broke something in his brain. I think it just broke something in the head. I will say that this book sucked. There's a link to it in the description, but I would actually argue you probably should get the New World Order convention book from first edition. A, it's a bit
Which is
cheaper.
from
B, it's shorter.
and funny, it might be more useful, even though it's from 30 years ago.
Yeah, because it at least gives you an idea on their culture better. What the what the fuck was that shit in the beginning? Like the
Yeah,
fucking
I
first
didn't. Yeah,
third.
I don't get any idea on how they act, what they do.
It's well, no, I get what they do. It's basically a big fucking parody on essentially. It's a big parody on this type of stuff that people made a lot of money making fun of in 2016 to 2019. It's basically all the right winger memes. Because you have shit-tastic journos colluding with shit-tastic colleges, colluding with shit-tastic internet fucking cabals.
And government agencies.
They barely mention that aspect, even though the entire thing about the NWO is they basically own the government's soul.
Also, they are infiltrating institutions and organizations to warp them to better reflect their universalist paradigm of how they see the world should be.
And you're taking these guys who were historically the worst guys, because reminder, they backed the fucking Nazis. And you're trying to make them the ones that shill for this new thing called feminism and pushing it. What did you mean by this, Hill? What did you mean
I
by
mean,
this, Hill?
what I'm inferring from this, and I could be wrong. He could be saying he hates Jews.
Maybe. This is one of the longest ways to just be an anti-Semite I've ever read, though. Most people
Don't worry, David Hill. I hate you too. You can be honest with me.
The ghost of Kellogg has stolen his foreskin. I'm not even kidding. The funny corn cereal man has a lot to answer for.
Yes.
But no,
Why do
all
they
in
steal
all,
my?
I'm gonna rate this a trash. This is just garbage. It's not a garbage fire. It's just trash in the dumpster.
President.
I mean, I'm gonna put it down as playable because it is playable, and
It's
but
hard to. The first
the
third is
problem here
extremely
is that
hard to read, and like there's maybe 10.
yeah.
I can't
Well,
really
well,
rate it as that high.
the problem here is this: the various powers and everything focus on being like a James Bond type
Barely.
character.
It's
Well,
mostly data stuff.
Data, but even
You're Hecker,
so,
man.
it doesn't gel then with the beginning of the book talking about the history and making it more academics.
And the thing is, you're saying playable, but like the reason I think this is trash is 3/4 of this book is absolute garbage. And 1/3 of it is insufferable back padding. I'm so proud of my own unintelligent writings that I'm going to have the agent yaz at the fucking writer. Like, the first third of this book is the literary equivalent of watching someone successfully break their spine so that they can then suck themselves off to completion. It is horrifying. It looks like something Junji Ito would draw, and your eyes are bleeding as you can't stop staring away because of the paradox involved in that atrocity.
Well, I guess that means I'm already mad.
I I am quite infuriated with this fucking book. I'm gonna rate this. Yeah, it's garbage for me. Playable for you. What do you think, Biggs? You missed the best part, which is the worst part.
Uh, um, my, let me tell you, World of Darkness really doesn't disappoint with wildness and quality. I'll say that. You don't know what you're going to get into when you start until you start reading it. Because didn't you say you actually had high hopes for the fucking thing?
I had
Yes.
much higher hopes. I wouldn't say it. I didn't think it was going to be an amazing book, but you know what I was thinking? Oh, I'm going in this thinking, oh, this will be like the Hermetics. You know, it'll be relatively. Oh, fuck.
Once
I
again, White Wolf has fucked you over again.
what the funny storytellers got me again.
So I think I can definitely say that just play Werewolf. Nothing bad ever came out of Werewolf. Adam is just
Black
lying when he says
Furies,
changing
Children of
breeds is bad.
Gaia. Not Black Furies,
He's,
Changing of Gaia. Some of the Rage Across books are pretty fucking
Fifth
shit.
edition.
All of 5th edition is the
well,
verbal equivalent of kidney stones.
I mean, that's just fifth edition in general. So don't blame Werewolf for that.
But I can still blame them for both Black Fury books. I mean, one of them is better than the other, but they're not good.
The Kitsune.
Oh God,
You know
yeah.
this, but you know this, but 5e players have been so desperate they've been tricking V20 people, saying, "Oh yeah, we're playing V20," but instead it's just a V5 game.
I've noticed that YouTube videos sometimes try to trick people into thinking they're talking about earlier editions, and what they'll do is they'll sneak in the 5th edition shit. They're cooked, man. They're losing to My Little Pony. They're losing to My Little Pony and fucking Power Rangers.
Well, I mean, of course they're losing the furry demographic to the horses, of course,
But
because
yeah,
everyone's fucking.
all in all, usually these books are not terrible. I mean, the convention, the tradition books aren't usually that bad. This one was just dog shit.
You just listed like all the werewolf products that you hated, man. Don't say usually.
Well, no, because the
50-50
Get
whether
a
or not it's the
Fenris is
World of
pretty
Darkness
fucking
product.
good. The Get a Fenris book is pretty fucking good. Several of
There's
the
the
other tribe books are pretty good. Valkenburg
Showa
Foundation is
books.
excellent.
Sir, point being, it's a toss up whether or not if whether a World of Darkness product you have no info about and nobody talks about is going to be good or bad.
Welcome to the world of darkness, Bish. You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah. What'd you think about that?
But speaking of what we're
But
gonna get, what is
then
our
again,
plans
I'm the
then?
idiot that's. I was just about to say, but then again, I'm the idiot that spent $30 on a pre-owned copy of Slasher at my local bookstore. Does that make me?
Hey, the
Slasher
slasher
book's
slap
fine.
book's good. But what are we gonna plan for next week?
Oh God. Um. Shit. Do you want to continue the world of darkness, or do you want to do something new?
I really got I
We'll
really
have
do
to do
want to
some
lead a
internal.
Mechaton.
We'll have to do some internal methodological debate.
Look, we're gonna. I have a few books I'm gonna need to process and force to love Big Brother. And right now, my brain is fucking frappe parcheesi. I think I'm running on something like Paradox 7 right now. I'm inclined to do another World of Darkness book. I'm inclined to do any other. No, I got a great idea.
If you can find an interesting Rift book, we could do that.
Ooh.
If
Well, with that, be seeing you.
you'll never know what you'll get next week. Who knows? Maybe it'll be another hidden Dave Hill book. Fuck. See you, everyone.